Please note that the following views and the opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily the views nor the opinions of the Master Force Group, YouTube.com, Free America Radio Network, our sponsors, our partners, and MFG is a private society, and nothing here is ever to be construed as hate, medical, nor legal advice. And listen to the Forbidden History prime time 7 days a week right here on the RealPublicRadio.net, because hidden beneath the sands of time lies the greatest of all mysteries. It's the Forbidden History. Unearth for yourself the secret truths that lie hidden just beneath the surface below our feet. What is it that the powers that be do not want you or I to know? Come and journey with us as we explore and dare to know, because it's all right here, coming your way, 7 days a week on the RealPublicRadio.net, Free America Radio Network. Somewhere out there, it's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. Stand by for the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, and still time to call your friends. We'll be right back.
The missing dimension in world politics is the spiritual dimension. The problems of life cannot be solved by material means. Modern civilization is missing the point of life. Human life is meant for understanding spiritual values. Real knowledge is knowing yourself, what you are, what God is, and understanding your relationship and duty to God. It is our duty to understand God, abide by His laws, and learn to love Him. Then all of our problems will be solved. When men are not governed by God, they will be ruled by tyrants. The material world is just like a prison. The spirit soul is imprisoned in a material body which is imprisoned in the material world. We do not belong in this material world. We are spirit souls and belong to the spiritual world. Modern civilization is wrongly directed to the fulfillment of sense gratification, the basis of material life and a barrier to spiritual realization. The demonic believe that the enjoyment of the senses is the ultimate goal of life. However, it is not possible to become peaceful and happy in the attempt to gratify the temporary senses. The result is usually the opposite. A materialistic culture based on sense gratification agitates the mind and senses. Unless one controls the mind and senses, one cannot make any spiritual advancement. The great sages of all bona fide religions were completely free of material attachments because they knew that spirit is permanent while matter is temporary. Our present culture would have us debase ourselves and become more and more entangled in materialism so that the path to the spiritual world is blocked. The demonic wish to make this planet a closed system where it cannot function for the purpose it was intended. The material world was created to give man the opportunity to purify himself of his material consciousness, for the aim of life is to go back home, back to God. The demonic cannot go back home until they rid themselves of their demonic mentality, and so they wish to make it impossible for anyone else to return home. This is the ultimate goal of psychological warfare: to entangle man in materialism so that he cannot return home, back to the Supreme Lord. Mind control in America. Break it.
And welcome to Forbidden History Live, the series, ladies and gentlemen, on Ask Desert Owl and the Original Thought Transliteration Project. And of course, what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here, because somebody's got to do it, and we're happy to accommodate our friends out there that actually care to know, because there's a lot of information out there, but the trouble is being able to process that information. Is it valid information? Is it invalid, right? And so today we're going to do a special presentation on George Washington and proving out that he is King George III. There's a story behind him as well that lends credit to the story, actually, the story about him when he was King George III. So, the good news is there is no war with Gaza, because that is not a war. That's tongue in cheek, because it's not good news, because it's a genocide program, and they're annihilating in pure Technicolor before all of our eyes a innocent population. For the most part, they are innocent. These people have been so beaten up over the last 70 years by the pseudo-Israel that they wouldn't want to provoke them to anything, and of course, it's well established that Hamas is the agency for the phony state of Israel, and giving them the phony excuse for then to demolish the rest of the Palestinian homeland that had been there for a couple thousand years practically. So really tragic. But the bad news is that there is a war, and it's a war on everyone. It's not a war on the people in Gaza. It's a war on everyone. And the same genocide that they're giving to them there, they're going to give to them over here. It's a war on your mind. It's a war on your mind. It's a war on your body. It's a war on your family. It's a war that they have waged since the beginning of recorded history, basically, from the time the Watchers fell and wanted to enslave mankind with the head knowledge that they had from their father Adam, who was the first Nazarene, the bright and shining one. Um, then these are the front warfaring class. This is not the people running the world. They're managing the world for somebody else. They're managing the world for the ancient Aryan Brahmin, who are the Brahmin is a corruption of the word sovereign. They don't want to make it so obvious, sovereign, and and they appointed their Aryan brothers, the lower ranking cousins and brothers and bastards and all of those that they didn't want a part of the inside circle, and they would push them out of the nest and say, "Go over here, go over there, and we'll work with you, and we'll give you your marching orders." And then they ultimately create in Mesopotamia, originally called Padamaram, the warfaring class called the Assyrians, and that's the culture that we're dealing with today. We know them in the ancient history as Assyrians. They banished the 10 tribes, and then they as Babylon came in and attacked the citadel of Judah, Jutha, correctly, Judah, and they took over the entire former nation of Israel, and it has ceased to exist. It was abolished. Israel was abolished in 724 BC, and so if Yahweh abolished them, then who would have the right to reestablish a state that was abolished by Yahweh, by by the sovereign of the universe, right? Think about it. And so it's a pseudo-Israel. What we see today is a pseudo-Israel. But they're while they were in the temple in Jerusalem, then they are the same culture as also the Caesar, the Roman culture. That's how they divide and conquer. That's how they keep everybody on the chessboard confused. You see, because they're controlling all the factions, all the major factions. When I was years ago, decades ago, when I was working with that retired intelligence officer, when I came to an awareness of all this stuff and found out the guy doing typesetting for my business was for retired intelligence officer, voice and mission control, and he said any group bigger than 3 people has been infiltrated. And even though that's not literally true, what that means is that any group that appears to be a threat to their cause, they will infiltrate with their secret agents and either take it down or take it over. That's how they do it. It's amazing. Yeah, when you're dealing with secret agencies, you can't you virtually can't win, ladies and gentlemen. But the good news is that this is not our world, as I always say on the program, that we win by being awakened and knowing who they are. The king has no clothes, and so then it draws you closer by being aware. It draws you closer then to your maker, your heavenly Father, and then you can be unaffected by the all the negative stuff in the world that's going on. You can be set free from it. You can be aware of it, pay attention to it, but not be caught up in it. You don't want to be caught up in it like people are saying, they're talking war, they're talking war. No, there is no war. There is no war on Gaza. There is, no war in Ukraine. It's all an actor's guild. It's a stage. Anything they say is not true. If you hear it on the mainstream, anything, it's not true. There's nothing true there. So you have to learn how to get information through alternative sources. And those who know me here on the on the broadcast, actually, and want to welcome our new listeners. Anybody jumping in here today, I appreciate your stopping by, and don't be afraid to say hello on the chat. And those who are coming on later on, we most of the people come in within the first 24 hours of our broadcast. But yeah, we're in a psyops, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a world that has never naturally evolved, but has been manufactured and manipulated from the ancient time from before the flood. Um, and so a group of people capture the world. It truly, the world, everything belongs to Yahweh, the great spirit, the great father. But he gave us free will. So those who came down to earth, called the sky gods, the sun gods, the Aryan race through Adam, they decided to take over and spit in the face of their maker, and to wage war on mankind, enslave mankind, and have a party, a festival. It's amazing, but they're the scapegoat. In other words, and they are the slave. They claim to be free, like the Freemasons, but they are actually the slave, because they're a slave to their serpent self, their serpent flesh, and their ego, serpent ego, and they will never be able to go back unless they would repent of their ways, which for most of them would be unlikely, with their blood oaths and their fear of having their throats slit by their upper degrees. So they've sold out themselves. They sold out our planet. They have sold out everyone, ladies and gentlemen, and it's really sad. So today with the review, I want to. I'm going to go through some slides. I'm going to do a mini presentation before the main presentation on giving you. I'm going to give you pictures, and the pictures should resonate with you, because you're going to know what you're looking at, and then it's just a matter of realizing that when you put these pictures in a certain order, with a little bit of information, all of a sudden it's like how did you miss that? But you missed it because most people are not journalists. Most people don't have the time. They're busy working as slaves to, don't know how to begin, and not even that they should research these things. It's a miracle for me, that the Heavenly Father has allowed me to see what I'm able to see, and I know He didn't give me, the big download that I have received over a lifetime of study, but that He got me at the right place at the right time to see the things I needed to see, for the benefit of our transcendence, but also for the benefit of everybody out there, because He knew the end was coming. This is called the Gentile dispensation, as Yeshua referred to it, and we are being dispensed. We're being dispensed with, but the ones who destroyed the world are the very ones who wanted to enslave mankind. They've destroyed it. They destroyed the ozone layer, and they've destroyed, and we can just put up the ad for Dane Wigington real quick and do it for him, Ninja. Dane Wigington, everybody needs to pay attention. I got the link already in the chat. Dane Wigington, do a search on YouTube for Dane, D-A-N-E, first name Dane, and then Wigington, W-I-G-I-N-G-T-O-N, or you can see Geoengineering Watch. Go to his website, geoengineeringwatch.org. Okay, and he's got there the dimming, the video production that they did. Like two people died in the middle of the production, the producers of it, and they didn't want it out, so go get it while you can, and watch the dimming, or all the last week's Saturday was a major listen to. You need to listen to last week, but yesterday, every Saturday, he did another latest version. Okay, so there's nobody like Dane Wigington. He is a standalone and a truly made by the great Father to be what he is, to give us the truth. I always said, I don't care how bad it is. I just want to know the truth, and then I'll learn how to deal with it. And so thank you, Dane Wigington. And I create light for him every week as well, and his family. And I have no doubt that he'll be on the other side, ladies and gentlemen, because he takes responsibility for what he knows. Okay. And thank you, Ninja, for that. And so we're going to be going to our first round of clips, which I put together a few months ago, and I think it was at the time when East Palestine, they made a movie about it, and then 5 months later they actually fulfill what was in the movie on East Palestine and take it down with the railroad in a staged event. I know you and I made another connection today when I was reviewing everything, and so literally this will be an eye opener again, showing you how they speak to each other, but we never get it. Okay. And so I'm going to have to do a screen share now, and then I'll be doing clips on my end. Ninja has some limitations right now with the internet on down in Sydney, Australia, where she's at. Okay, let me think here. Okay, got to share screen. And let's see, I'm gonna need also to share the audio. Hopefully, Ninja, we won't have a problem. On this one, won't need the audio, but when we do the review on the other, we'll use the audio, and we should be okay. You'll let me know, I guess, if there's a problem, and
Yeah,
I'll stop it.
that's a new thing. So
Well, we'll find out, won't we? Okay.
yes.
All righty. Share. Here we go. Okay, and sharing screen here. And now let me go to my desktop and get the clip. And we do have a call-in program, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to call in, you have a question, anything on on the political science, and I can talk about it because I've been studying as a political scientist for about 40 years, but more especially my life has been dedicated to the knowledge of the way, and the code, how they corrupted our scriptures with engineered words, and so this ancient history, forbidden history, and the scriptures are number one. But then I had to get involved with the modern day political science and become a political activist in the 1990s, and had two organizations, and then also got into doing interviews and ultimately broadcasting myself as well. And so it's been a long journey, but I'm happy. I'm here to answer questions. Okay, if anybody has comments or questions they want to make, call in 608-566-7295. The number is posted up above as well. I think I put it up there somewhere, didn't I? What's going on here?
Change to live chat, and you'll see it. Change from top chat
Live.
to live chat.
All right, live chat. That didn't do anything.
I don't know. It's hard for me to see, but
No, I've never had to do that. I never had to do that.
I know you
And
put it in there because I saw you do it.
right. Oh, there. Okay, there it is. Call in. Okay, there's the call in number. Okay. Was it my eyes, or was I not seeing things, or was I seeing things? I don't know. Anyway, look at that dimensional dive this thing takes. It keeps going deeper and deeper. That is really wild. So anyway, we're we have a call-in program, and I woke up with a headache, and we missed a week already doing this, but we have really something really powerful to share, so it's really exciting at the same time. And we're missing Lynn. Lynn had something on Sundays now that she has to do with her family, and we're very happy for her as well. But Lynn was always a good part of our program as well. And so 608-566-7295. But the better way to call in is on Skype. We have better quality there. So if you do have Skype, please use your Skype feature, Free America Radio, all one word. Okay. All right. And thank you for doing that. Love to hear from you. And so let me minimize this now. And we're going to go to oh, wait a minute. I had some ads. We have some ads. And I didn't. Where did I put that clip? Okay. 911. No plane. I failed to set up the video. Oh, here, where is it? Oh, it's not there. Oh, come on. Ninja, I might need the clip. Are you able to drop it in Skype?
Yeah, but it
I know
might
I
it
should
might
have it.
slow down. It might slow down the stream
Yeah,
while it's sending.
I don't know what's going on.
Do you want to go to a song
King
while you
George. Wait a
find
minute.
it?
Here it is. I think it's right here.
Okay.
It's right here. King George. Today's the 10th, right? Yeah, this is the 9th.
Okay.
Dated the 9th. Okay, there it is, right below. I just didn't put it in the lineup, so I blew it. Okay, so I'll put it over here. Very good. And desktop coming in okay?
Were you talking to me?
Is yeah. Well, you're the only one I'm working with over here.
What did you
Is the
ask?
desktop is the
Desktop, yeah.
desktop coming in?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I got to know we can see this. All right.
Yes.
So, all righty. So there's a couple ads that were on another video yesterday. U.S. quietly repeals propaganda ban, spreads government-made news to Americans. Boy, that sounds like Pravda. Pravda in the old Soviet Union. U.S. quietly repeals all propaganda ban and spreads government. So they're telling you, as they always tell you, they're telling you they're now going to be giving you propaganda. They wanted you to think that the grassroots out there, the people that really cared and were trying to shout from the rooftop and wake everyone up, and they called them fake news. And here now they're acknowledging that they're going to now be on the propaganda machine. They always were, it's just that now it's official, Now they're going to say it. Here's another one. The NDAA legalizes the use of propaganda on the U.S. public. So you're being propagandized, ladies and gentlemen. Propagandized and appropriated and propagated. And then the last one here, let's look at that one. It just makes you feel warm and fuzzy, doesn't it? And it's getting really harder, to find anywhere to go, on the internet. U.S. repeals propaganda ban, spreads government-made news. It says 2 Americans. See, they grew up in the communist schools. It's not 2 Americans, 4 Americans. U.S. repeals propaganda ban, spreads government-made news for Americans. See, it's for you, especially for you, with love from you-know-who. So it's very sick, ladies and gentlemen, what they are doing in our world. They are wicked. Their sickness is so. When you see the best of it, actually, with the pseudo Israel today, what they're doing. If you've seen any of the clips, how they're writing songs about annihilating all the people of Gaza. They're what they do to them when they get their hands on them, whether they're little boys or girls or adults, that the torture that they put them through. They really make the SS stormtroopers look like Boy Scouts, compared to what they're doing today, and it's really sad. And so this one world culture, it's not. In other words, it's not Israel, it's not the Vatican, it's not the German army from World War I, World War II, because they're actually all the same. Okay, they're all the same. It's you call them Illuminati, you call them Knights of Malta, you call them Jesuits, you call them Kabbalists, Kabbalists. They're all, call them Masons. They're all the same club. The only difference with Masonry is that with the 33 degrees, they got people in the lower ranks. They have no idea. They have no idea they're puppets. They're puppies, puppy dogs. They're just being told what to do. Yeah, master. Yeah, master. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it sounds good to me. You mean I can party later on? Okay. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I want to party. Oh, you mean I can make big money? Oh, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. But that's the thrill, and that's the the way to get them, And then when they get to the higher degrees, as I have heard a number of stories, when they come into the 32nd degree, and then they have a special dinner, and they to initiate them, and they find out that they're eating the flesh of a dead virgin that they kidnapped and killed, and it's really tragic, ladies and gentlemen. And then these people, they go out and they kill themselves. They one of them, I remember, out of Canada, he owned a car lot, OK Cars, that was big over in New Jersey. We used to have OK Cars, and he literally kills himself after the fact, because some people just wanted to be in a business club. They didn't want to, institute communism in America. They didn't want to, be a part of anything like that. And so that's what ultimately happens, and they wake up. Ultimately, they wake up, and then they're so corrupted and so compromised already. It's easier just to go along and get along. Otherwise, they'll do things to them that because they betrayed their blood oath. Then all of a sudden they lose their car lot, they lose their business, they lose their friends, they get blackmailed, they get stalked, they have it all happen to them. just to teach them a lesson. So the other ones will remember, just keep the other ones in line. That's really why they do it. I've got to turn my heater up. I'll be right back. Give me 30 seconds. And so it's a good idea to download these programs after the fact, ladies and gentlemen, because, the way things are getting, all of the channels will be gone soon, I'm sure, that are telling anything of substance, of any truth, of any caring for life and sanity and decency, those type of programs, unless they're entertainment, they don't care if they're entertainment, they want to entertain you. But to have valid information that is crucial to our current state of affairs is not what they care for. Okay, so now we're going to go to this clip, and all right, so I'll just stop it as I go. It's we need to get the longer version. I don't think Ninja had a chance to get this one yet. We're needing to extend it, but I'll just stop it and continue clipping on it. The world is governed by a people far different than those imagined by the public. Okay? The world is governed by a people far different than those imagined by the public. Benjamin Disraeli, Prime Minister of Great Britain, 1868. So he really didn't spill the beans. He didn't betray his boss, but he says it in a way, like they give you public notice, right? They give you notice, but they don't really, blatantly say it, like when they gave us all those notices about 9/11, right? They were telling us 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11 everywhere, right? In all the movies and all in cartoons, and but nobody picked up on it, and but this statement is a fact that the world is governed by who? Not by the people that you see called presidents and prime ministers and kings, yada yada. The world is governed by a people far different than those imagined by the public. It's beyond your imagination, right? But you're going to see the pictures right here, who they are. It's so the picture is the notice, but it's not being announced, right? And so let's go on here. Okay, so look here, we've got the guy that was involved in the assassination of John Kennedy, Skull and Bones, the Brotherhood of Death, George Bush Sr. And if you go to Forbidden History Archive on Odyssey, you look for on the right-hand side, about 2 lines down, I think 2 rows down, the video called "It's a Rich Man's Game." It's a rich man's game. How John F. Kennedy was really assassinated, and the story is a major work, outstanding quality, and it's about 2 hours, and you'll find out there were 8 shootist, okay, and how he was shot in the end at the final blow that blew his head off, practically was something you have to see for yourself, okay? So go check that out. But so you see the unseen hand right there. So what he's acknowledging, then these characters who are the Federal Reserve banking authority, they're admitting that they work for somebody else as well. They're working for the unseen hand, right? And George Bush, Poppy Bush, the drug dealer, Poppy for heroin and poppies, of course, out of Afghanistan and other places around the world. Vietnam, also, Burma, that area. They're how these photos got out. I'm just so grateful they did. Because there's, and look, they take the cameo shot, and it's over and over. Look at this one, good quality of these Jews. They call themselves Jews, but they're Ashkenazi Khazar Aryans. Ashkenazi Khazar Aryans, a bastard tribe that go back all the way to the Assyrians. So they don't look like the pure Aryans we know that came out of Prussia. I'm not calling it Germany because German means Jew, and it goes all the way back into the Talmud. So they created the state of Germany, the Empire of Germany in 1871, and that was going to be their war machine to wage war on Europe and the rest of the world. So so you have these characters, you know, and so this is really the behind the scene uh, government. This is the real government, Federal Reserve, those who print the money, okay, run the show. And so it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all propaganda. It's all mind manipulation. It's a war on your mind, and you never see how the game is really played. This guy is just a dead, brain dead, pathetic, Bush Jr. Yeah, unreal. And now we've got, of course, the African line of the royal family. They actually had a father, African father for um, Obama. You can't even stand saying the guy's name, let alone looking at him with his Marxist smirks all the time that he has. A true Marxist, But anyway, there they are again, and you can see here we got the little family of up and coming communists. And so let's go to the next one. It's just really sick, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? When you really pull the curtain, it's really sick. And okay, here we go. Now, I really, this is my favorite because whenever you look at Vladimir Putin, I hope I got his first name right. I think it's Vladimir. He always looks like the quintessential statesman. Like you can't help but like the guy just because he's looking good. And he's always in these big doors, walking through down hallways, and he's just and he's obviously Mr. Teflon, because he keeps on ticking, keeps coming back. He's their guy. And then all of a sudden, now we see him here and look at him. He's like a little puppy dog. I keep imagining they're trying to tell him, "Come on, stand on one leg, Vladimir. See if you can stand on one leg." And they're just having, he looks like a little boy. I can't get over it. They got the statesman, the guy I thought was so cool looking. Now he looks like he's, and they're all stroking him. So they're all smiling, joking with him. Yeah, we fooled them, didn't we? Yeah, we did, didn't we? That Bolshevik Revolution, that really paid off. Yeah, gotta say. All right, next one. Oh yeah, hey, I know what this guy's thinking. He said, "And you guys told me I was going to be the boss, right?" Sure. Okay. Well, you're lucky you're not fired, Mr. Trump. But you work for some very powerful people, and that's why your son-in-law, he's on 666. Broadway or whatever it is, and it's the number of a star. People don't get that 666 is the number of a star, and so they're just claiming to be stars. When remember our scripture told us that those who followed Yeshua would be like the stars of heaven, and the others would be like dirt. They're claiming to be the stars because 666 is the number of the sun, as 66 is the number of the earth, and number 6 is the number of man, and that's what should be in Revelations in chapter 13 or 13 or 12, where it says the number of the beast. It's 6 because man is a beast. He's a serpent. It's the number of the serpent, and it's a serpent cult that we're presenting here. Remember Trump? He gave one of his election speech when he was running for president, and he was in the hangar, and then he gave this story about a snake, and he said, this woman felt sorry for a snake and brought him in and took care. And, he says, so he was admitting by his story that, they're all snakes. They're all serpents. And, but everybody thought it was a great story. They didn't get it. But anyway. And there he is in his true colors. And he's asking him, well, I don't know what that is actually. But it's probably a Bible, probably a Tanakh, Old Testament. And continuing here, wonder why he didn't wear that hat in the election. Same with this guy, right? We got Biden, a Jew, and his vice president, Hindu, from India, and also a Jew, and an attorney. Boy, all the bad things, right? Um, but yeah, and they never told us. And it's funny because when they had the thing going in the arm, they wanted everyone to take. They said, nobody can gather, no more than 10 people can gather on Christmas, or was it 6 people or nobody? I can't remember now. But they never said anything about Hanukkah. They never said nobody can gather for Hanukkah. They didn't say that, but they said nobody can gather for Christmas, right? And not that I give any credence to Christmas, because it is an occultic holiday, and not when Yeshua was born. Okay, continuing on here. But you see the pattern, ladies and gentlemen. You got to look at patterns. There's a pattern going on. Oh, and I love this one. Zelensky. Yes, they're homosexual actor. They're all actors. You see, that's the thing you find out about them. Like Ronald Reagan, right? President of the Actors Guild out of Hollywood. They're all actors in one way or another. And they're just giving rewards. It looks like they're giving a book to Zelensky. Good war, Z. Keep it up. Yeah. And nobody gets it, but that's okay. They'll get it in the end. We're going to give it to all of them. They're going to be our slaves, or they're going to be dead, one or the other, because we love the Talmud. That's our religious book, the Babylonian Talmud. And there's the train. So here you see the banking shield on the train. And when we redo that, if we can put that other clip that shows the power at the bottom, Ninja, that'd be great, because we're constantly upgrading. Ninja's doing great work upgrading all of our graphics all the time, and it keeps the project going, so I can stay focused on presentation and translation and whatever that is to that. So the train with the wings on it, the shield, the banking shield with the wings on it, saying that this is the biggest. How did that quote go on Ninja? No, I can't even remember it. The biggest power, the power machine.
Trying to
You remember?
remember. Yeah, you say it better.
All right. All right, it's all right. Um, yeah, the big machine, the biggest machine, the baddest machine represents them. You see, you got to see the symbolism, and so that's union. The union is a communist word. Union, and there's your UN for for undoing, but also un in the French for one order, union, um, and it's synonymous with united. United and Union are basically, different versions of the same idea, and the unions are typically, the organized crime as well, and that's the Jewish mafia. That they make things happen when you can't do it through normal political channels. Then they go to the mafia, and they do it for them. Continuing here. Yep. And close up look, the red, white, and blue. That's the colors of communism. The colors of the elite, ladies and gentlemen. And then here, they give us a cartoon version, right? Board of Governors, the Federal Reserve System. But of course, there is, I've got pictures, or I've seen them. I used to have them, of their shield in the bank entranceway as well. Getting talked out here. I'm gonna take a break pretty quick. So we've got. Here it is, the most powerful engine ever. Well, no, the sun is the most powerful engine, so we got them beat. But the Rothschild, the shield of wrath, that's what it means. Rothschild, red shield, child means killed also. C is Syria, C Babylon. This is in the Cursed Word Dictionary. If you want to get the Cursed Word Dictionary, you'll find these clips and others about India. And what they didn't want you to know, and also in the back of the book. Actually, in the back of the book, I got those pictures that I'm showing you here. You'll have them on hard copy, so you can show them to friends. Signs and symbols say who rules the world. Okay. And then we've got the horse is also a serpent. In the original thought, horse is a serpent also. And so if he was riding a horse, they would be basically saying he's riding a serpent. Let me take a sip. And so let me continue here. And they change the names of these companies periodically, to keep us confused. But there you go. And so look what we got here. This is East Palestine. And so 5 months before this happens, around February of this past year, right? February this year, 2023. They have a train wreck, and it spills toxic materials, and they burn it, which then creates dioxins, which is basically the most lethal element on the planet, at least next to strontium, the atomic waste that they're spraying down on us in the geoengineering aerosol spraying. And so they have the movie, and then they do it. And so don't you get that this is now you can get it, because I'm going to tell you, and I know you will, that this was a premonition, right? East Palestine. Well, where are they today with another group with the same name, right? They're in the East, in the Mideast, and they're going after the Palestinians. And so this is really a high sign to their people, I think, because obviously the regular people would never get it. They don't even get that they've literally created East Palestine into a wasteland, a chemical wasteland, and they're not even telling them that they should have ran to the hills when it happened and don't look back because you can't go there. Instead, they have poisoned all of these people, and they're going to die of extreme cases of cancer. And they're still living there. That's how the game is played, because they want everyone to go to the grave, ladies and gentlemen. And so they predicted what's happening in Palestine now, the final showdown, and it's coming to a neighborhood near you. Because if they get away with this stuff the way they are now, like with Palestine, claiming it's a war when it's a genocide program, well, when they're done with them, where do you think they're going to turn? Because they're already doing it to the world. There's no food. The worthless eaters are no longer needed. Their slave labor is no longer needed. May heaven help us. So keep looking up, ladies and gentlemen. The world is governed by a people far different than those ever imagined by the public. But it is possible to know, ladies and gentlemen, and if you're tuned in here, you're at the right place at the right time to be in the know. So congratulations. Now we're going to our next feature. Before we take a break, because I won't have to talk during this, what I'm going to do is I'll be able to take my own break, and then I'm going to play the clip twice. That over the last week, Ninja and I have produced this presentation on King George, and the question is, when is a king not a king? Come on, when is a king not a king? And it is when he is owned and controlled, as is Britain, by the Rothschilds, by the Red Shield. Oh, wait a minute. We don't have any audio on this. I just realized that. Okay, so this clip.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, for this one, I have to go to the channel. So let me go here.
The long version.
Yeah, I'll go to our live channel. This is the one. What's going on? Here we go. This is where we're going to be doing live. Ninja has been priming me on operating the Forbidden History Live channel, which is really easy compared to YouTube. But anyway, we're going to hopefully start, sometime this week or by the end of the week. We have things coming up a little bit, that maybe one more week before we get there. But this is where we're going to do our live production. And then here we have our archive, okay, Forbidden History Archive, where we've been putting all this stuff up. There's the one on Kennedy, and we have and here's something on how they want to stick it to you, right there. and you must hear. Okay, it's an important presentation, and the guy came out with all the facts in New Zealand, and the next day he was arrested and got 7 years, the quickest trial, I guess, in history. I didn't know they sentence you the day they arrest you, but yeah. So check it out, because um, what's the axiom? Liars figure, but figures don't lie. And so you're going to know the figures, and that you can use that to share with those you care about. Okay. But anyway, we've got such important information here. The Mystery of Israel, right here. Everyone has to watch. It's David Sorensen out of Scandinavia, in that area. He, I think, out of Norway. He did the all-time expose on who really they are, Israel, who call themselves Israel. They are not Israel. Okay, they are Ashkenazi, Khazar, Aryan. They're Nazis. They are the Nazis. See, they were the Nazi Germans. And this is part of the presentation. I'm hoping to get an interview one of these days and do this presentation. But anyone who wants me to bring it on here on the program, just call in, and we'll be glad to do that. Because we're doing a special today. But I mean, or at the end of the program, yeah, or on any of our others. But we need to get this out, because this is it's in our face. We need to know, the Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu, he in the book of Sun Tzu, the book on military warfare, it says that if you want a chance to win a battle, you have to absolutely know your enemy, and you have to absolutely know yourself. And so knowing the enemy is then knowing how to move and shake within this world, because we're sucked into it. I've got friends today that literally promote the propaganda, of the white hats and Trump this, Trump that, Trump our savior, and they're caught up in the illusion. They think that the stage is real. They literally think that Washington, D.C. is legit, right? They don't get it, that they've lied to us every day of our lives, and all they've done is wage war on mankind through fraud and deception. And, the most brutal military state on the planet, Washington, D.C., right? And people don't get it. They will support the lie, and they'll die to support it. And it's really amazing. It's amazing how well the mind control machine, when they get you when you're a baby, it's not like it's somebody's fault per se, other than the enemy, because if they grab you when you're in your diapers and sit you down in front of your boob tube, and then they get you in the government communist school system, the fool system, and so everything they're feeding you constantly is a fraud and a lie and a deception, or entertainment, because the same people that are coming for you now are the same ones that have been entertaining you all of these years. Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy, the Three Stooges, the Marx Brothers. I like that one, the Marx Brothers, taken back to communist Marx, right? And and all the other comedians, all of them, they're there to entertain you. Saturday Night Live, all to keep you spellbound and happy and entertained, and ain't life great, and pass the popcorn and the beer. And the entertained sports in Webster's means diversion. 1828, sports means diversion. And so it's and then what is it? Competition, Webster's 1820, competition means to make competent. So competition had to do with scholastics, to make somebody competent. We compete with each other to get the best idea, to be the smartest, to know how to explain something that nobody else has been able to explain, to become competent in this competition of learning knowledge, And so instead we got football. I actually grew up in Jersey, and so I watched Rutgers and Princeton play the original football that they created in the 1800s to create the diversion, to get people going. They created a new game of football, and I watched them put on the old uniforms, and I went there with my dad over there in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and watched Princeton and Rutgers. They invented football, and I saw the first games, reenacted, and that's how it developed, over time, and then became state of the art, and that's all people will think about. That's the excitement for the serpent. Get that serpent excited. You know, because the mind, the conscious. Where is the conscience? The conscience. That knows what their life is really all about. What is your life about? Is it do you have an eternal life awaiting for you? Do you realize that you are in a symbiotic relationship, that there is two of you, and one is not real and the other one is, and the one that's real, you can't touch it with your hands because it is your spirit, and your physical character, your serpent, is the illusion, and he wants to be satisfied all the time, wants to be fed and taken out to have parties and everything, and it's a deception, it's the diversion, and that's what they want you caught up into. And that's how we open the program with Stephen Jacobson's all-time classic and 3-minute end of his Mind Control in America. That they literally got us hooked on this world, and we need to be set free. And the truth is what can set us free, ladies and gentlemen. The truth. You can't have a little bit of lie and a little bit of truth. You can't be a little pregnant and a little not pregnant. Either you got the truth, and if you got the truth, you got the whole truth, and you can see through the facades, and you have a connection with your maker, that he opens your eyes and you can see and read it for yourself. You don't need anyone to tell you. It's the anointing of truth. It's called the anointing of truth. That's the anointing. There is no other thing that anointing means. It's about truth. The olive oil poured over your head so you can be lit upon fire. Okay, so let's go to this clip now. On Strange Days Indeed, and I'll cue it up. And I just want you to listen in, and of course, Ninja will let me know right away if we're having a problem with the additional feed. So let me open this up in a new window, and I'm just going to fast forward it. This first clip is about a 10-minute clip, and I'm going to put, but then I'll play it again without the audio. So I want you to hear the message that's behind it while you're visualizing something, and then we'll do it again without the sound, and you'll be able to then focus more on the picture, and then we'll go to a break, and then when we come back, I'm going to then do my commentary on each of the graphics. See, so because we couldn't put enough there, we try to keep it simple, but there's a story behind everything you're about to see. There's more to be said, and so between the process of 3 times looking at this, I think you'll be able to really get it, and that's what I hope. I know some of my friends already get it, but there's a lot of you out there that I don't know that are maybe tuning in for the first time, and it's here to help you get it. Okay, so no longer buy into the lie and be deceived by the.
I'm
What?
just letting you know.
I'm
I've
sorry?
got it. Okay, everything's slowed down. Everything's slowed down.
All right, we're not going to do it. We're not going to be able to do it.
Okay.
We're not going to be able to do it. Okay, let me know if it gets back. We're getting back to.
Just let me have a look at
Can you play it on your end?
That will slow everything
No,
down as well.
you can't play it on your. Yeah. All right, I'll just do the graphics then.
Okay.
All right.
Before you go on, I need to check the stream to make sure it's good.
All right.
So,
All right.
1 second.
All right.
And we're still live.
Good. We're still live?
Yes.
Oh, geez. What did I just do? I don't believe this. Oh, I see. My screen is moving, and I got confused. I'm just saying hello to Victoria. Okay. Good to have you, Victoria. And I thought I clicked the wrong thing, and the screen was changing pictures, and that was you.
That was me.
So we're good. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go back to the other graphic.
Yeah, you'll see it go back to the screen share in a second.
All right. And so yeah, so you'll have to just simply go to Strange Days Indeed, either on live on Forbidden History Live on Odyssey or on Forbidden History Archive on Odyssey. Just the Strange Days Indeed, ladies and gentlemen. I'll just pull up the graphic up one more time. And where is it? Right here? Yeah. So on Archive, it's at the top, right? It's the orange. You can't miss it. Strange Days Indeed, Forbidden History, or on Live. It's over here on the second row in the middle, okay? But you can listen to the audio presentation. What we did, I produced that about over a decade ago. And then I realized when I talked about, George Washington was King George, and then I got a comment back from through an email saying, "Are you kidding me? What?" And so I realized, well, all right, here's my opportunity to do it. And so I mentioned I sliced together 24 graphics and we just popped it in. So the audio is from over a decade ago, about 12 years ago. I lost track of time here, but a decade ago, not 12. And then we put the graphics in here, and that way it was the answer. The answer. Okay, so nobody's confused. Here, we'll give it to you right on this program, and the beauty of modern technology, right, and software that we could actually do that. And and then in the back we've got the graphics for the UFO. I'll pull that up in a little bit as well. And so let me now get back with the program. And what am I doing now? I'm pulling up. Okay, I know what I'm doing. Right, so here we go with the graphic, and so it'll be easier to read. I'll slow it down though. I will go a little slower so you can study it and read it, and then look at the graphic. Because sometimes when people read slow, they won't be able to look at the graphic. So I'll go a little slower. Absorb the graphic, absorb the words, and then we'll go to the next one, and then um, yeah. So I'll double the time on this. That way you're really going to be able to absorb what I'm doing here, because the truth, as they say, is stranger than fiction. And who could have imagined, who even, but when I saw the picture of King George, I knew it. I knew it immediately because the hairstyle was the giveaway. Of course, the hairstyle, you know. And so again, when is a king not a king? When he's owned and controlled, as is Britain, by the Rothschilds. Here we go. Ninja came up with those curtains. That was pretty creative on her part, and the divine wind, I think, helping. And Judean there, of course, we hear it as Judean, but it's Judean. And they send them off to war, hoping they'll never come back. And we are here every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, most Sundays, 9 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. Usually we're dealing with the Kolbrin, and not done with that presentation, but we've had different diversions going on, but we'll get back to the Kolbrin perhaps at the end, a little read, if not, certainly by next week. Got a lot of interesting stuff on the payload site. You got to check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, on the Jesuits, on the secret oaths, and things like that, and a whole lot more dictionaries. Yeah, and so okay, so we're gonna take a break now, ladies and gentlemen, and so we have now a commentary that is going to follow when we come back on each of those graphics, because there's so much more to elaborate on. As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And so, yeah, there's a lot to say. Okay, so don't go away. We'll be right back. We're going to go for a ride down the rabbit hole, and you still have time to call a friend. Okay, so after all, you wanted to know, didn't you? All right, we'll see you in a bit. Thank you.
Ain't gonna need your teeth, won't need your once cried a billion tears for what he never knew. Now man's reign is through, but through eternal night, the twinkling of starlight, so very far away, maybe it's only yesterday. In the year 2525, if man is still alive, if woman can survive, they may find.
And welcome back to Forbidden History Live, the series on Ask Desert Owl and the Original Thought Transliteration Project, ladies and gentlemen. And the truth is stranger than fiction, right? And before we get back to the program, I just want you to know about a really great source for two important products. And one of them, well, the company is called ICU Mune. ICU Mune, and they've got two products. One is the humic acid, fulvic acid with zeolite, and then they have another one that is the antiviral. And so these products were designed for the things that are coming at us today. And so check them out. Highly recommended. They're not my sponsor. They're just friends that I know. They have produced something that's very important, okay, for all of us. I'm taking the zeolite every day myself, okay, and zeolite pulls out those toxins. It's a little cage, a little volcanic overflow that got solid, and then they crushed the volcanic ash, and you get zeolite, and it's like a little microscopic round cage, and it captures the toxins, and then it pulls them out of your body, and that includes metals, they're toxins, and and what have you, okay, the things that's bad for you. So yeah, so check them out, all right, and tell them I sent you. And so here we are back at the OK Corral, and we're gonna bring it on. Okay, so let me open up the video again, and the slide that Ninja did such a good job with, and we'll take it one at a time. And and we can take calls if anybody wanted to call in right now. You're welcome to do that. We can I want to stay relatively on topic. somehow closely related to this if we do have anybody call in. Okay, so because we're talking about the Grand Illusion, and that they say that there's a war going on. Where I just saw a report the other day, just saw the headline. We're in the third month of the war. Third month of the war. There is no war, and it's so tragic, ladies and gentlemen, what they're doing to these beautiful lives that are destroyed, especially the innocent ones. They don't care what religion you are or anything like that. They're just wanting to grow like flowers and to be free, and so it's really sad. So when is a king not a king? When he is owned and controlled, as is Britain, by the Rothschilds. So let me. I got a cough, and then I'm gonna say something here. So they say the Rothschilds, that their name was that there were some little. This is the child's tale again, like Betsy Ross made the American flag. No, she didn't. Christopher Columbus discovered America. No, he didn't. And so they say that the Rothschilds were a family of this poor little Jewish guy, trinket trader, and he had 4 sons, and that they got good at trading, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're controlling all of Europe, and that's because they don't want you looking at the Vatican, right? And they want you to think it's one little family of Jews and not the majority of the Jews with autonomy around the globe, and waging war on mankind. So Bauer, so the name that they say they used to have is Bauer, and Bauer is, you have to change the B to a V in the original, and it's Valwar. So the Rothschilds have taken, with all the Jews and who were originally Assyrians, have taken a vow for perpetual war. That's the vow war. That's so they can remember, That's their way of, oh yeah, don't forget vow war, vow war. And so that's the reason. It's perpetual war, never-ending war. That's why there's never been a time for peace on all of Earth, because they're engaged in crimes against you and I and our families, ladies and gentlemen. They are psychopaths. The judge sits on the bench. That's Latin for bank. The judge in the courtroom is sitting on the bank. He's keeping it in possession of the royals. They'll let you think you got a little, but they'll take it all back in the end, And so I think I was going somewhere else with that, but so anyway, yeah, there it is. And the hairdo was what gave it away. And after that, now I've got enough of the substance to prove it to anybody else right here in sharing this with you. When you're dealing with secret societies, of course, that's the key element that in their shell game that they're operating. So let's continue here. He's wearing the gold. He's in the gold. He's doing good, feeling good. Got that leopard spots all over him as well. He's spotted with leprosy and dressed in gold for his coronation, corona. There's your corona, right? Crown. And so what do we got here? We got a young, supposedly George Washington, but now that I pointed out his agency, let's look what he's doing. Oh, he's putting his hand, hiding it. You even saw that with Lincoln, right? When he was standing outside the tent and he's got his military officers standing around him. They're doing it because they're going to make sure Lincoln does his job. They're there as secret agents. If they're tucking the hand in their shirt, then they're agents of the Vatican and of that unseen hand. And so you got to look at the colors. And he's got the royal sash. The thing I failed to mention when I was, or notice when I was doing this, I never focused on the sash because it wasn't blue. But it doesn't matter that it's not blue. It's actually a violet. So it's ultraviolet. And you'll notice, like after Hillary Clinton lost the election to Trump, at that time, she and Bill, her pretend husband, Bill Clinton, come on the stage. And Bill Clinton's got a purple tie. Hillary Clinton is wearing all purple, and it's the ultraviolet light. So this sash is saying that he's the invisible king because he's wearing the royal sash, but the color means he's invisible. Do you see it? And I just saw that right here for the first time and was able to spell it out for you, ladies and gentlemen, to show you how deep the rabbit hole goes, and you don't automatically see everything all at once, you know. But that sash is totally out of place, and so then, you know, he's dressed in the blue because it's hiding the red. The blue is the, you know, the neutral color, you know, and was the color of the Northern Army as well. That's why they had the blue. But behind, and the enemy was the redcoats, and so he's got it underneath. He should have, in other words, if he weren't an actor, then, you know, underneath it might be green, you know, or, you know, it might be tan, you know, but red. Come on, that's telling the story. It's all about the red. The red is symbolic of the blood as well. And what's that saying? He's got something in his pocket. I can't quite make that out, but that's been noticing it. Now I see it's got something of something. What, like the power of? It looks like power, Power, maybe of. Maybe we'll have to put a magnifier to that one and follow up with that. Okay, so continuing. See, we love that red, white, and blue, ladies and gentlemen, don't we? But I've pointed out many times over the years that, I always say that, let's see, the French flag is red, white, and blue. The Russian flag is red, white, and blue. The British flag is red, white, and blue. The Dutch flag, it either is or was red, white, and blue, and then because that's where the red, white, and blue with the Dutch Royal West India Trading Company was located, and the American flag, red, white, and blue, was flown on the high seas, merchandising people in slave trade, you know, and so that's the American flag. It's a slavery flag, and people are pledging allegiance to it. And pledge means we give everything that we own to you. We give everything we own. That's the pledge. That's what pledge means. To hand over control, and that's what you do when you register your car, register your business, register your everything, right? And so that's a Regis Star. Regis Star is royal star, you see? And so there they are. They're your gods. He's a demigod, you know? Bow down to your master. He's up there in the clouds. He's feeling pretty good. He was wearing that gold. Now they're blowing horns, and the lady on the right hand, on the left side, has got the fasci, the representing how they conquered the earth with the battle axe, with the berserker battle axe, and the black ebony rods surrounding it are all the political states organized together as one state, a one world circle. Okay, and so the shield down below. Remember, the colors are red, white, and blue, but the red represents the red shield, Rothschild, and so it's in the word. The word is dominant in the same shield we see on our interstate highway here in America. The interstate highway going interstate, making it go quick across the U.S. with the new shield of Rothschild, the red shield, the red cape, just like Superman. Superman had a red cape also, right? And when you look in the legal dictionary under the word capias, cape, because that was my tip off. I said, okay, I know cape could be the word capias, so I'll look it up. And I did, and there it was, the power to take, or that which takes. Okay, and of course the sword. So it doesn't look very friendly wielding that sword, like, you know, you're gonna slit somebody's throat. What about the olive branch? I thought you were supposed to be a peaceful state. But and there's a bird, a phoenix on her head as well. That's the 500-year cycle of the phoenix. So just really interesting to see. And yeah. Oh, and here let's stop this one because the funny part, ladies and gentlemen, is I've known about the rotunda up in the ceiling, and and then this in the basement. I've known about this for years, and then it was like once that question came up again through that Strange Days Indeed broadcast the other day, a week ago, and I wanted to answer the question. All I had to do was go grab all of these graphics and put them in a logical order and add a little commentary on the side, and then all of a sudden these other pieces came to the table. It's like, as I'm doing it, wait a minute, look at this. Look at this. And I found something in a book, that I had in PDF form that I was putting up on payloads, and that book was relevant. Some of these old books I was stumbling on, and I was collecting. So look at him. He's a demigod. Demigod means part God. He's part God. Wow. Really? And he's saying he's number one. And he's got the toga wrapped around his arm and his lower waist, bearing his chest. But what's interesting, he's showing the serpent eyes, because the serpent eyes are, what we are covering when we wear clothing. But the toga, if you read toga, this is why this is interesting, because I'm saying here he's giving an image of Baphomet, right? And the serpent and toga backwards, if you rearrange the letters, you get goat. And so what do we see next? Because that's in the word, right? Everything's in the word. The toga that he's got on, as if he's unclothed, just wearing a toga, is the goat. There it is, the reverse image. You see? The real image that is representing, one represents the other, right? So Washington is representing the goat. He's an actor. He's playing his part. And then what I had discovered in doing this, I was putting away cleaning my desktop, and I saw this book, and it was called the Mystic Mason, and I said, oh, well, let me check. And I checked it out real quick, went in there, and I saw this, And so basically what it is, as you can see, it's replicating the imagery of the Baphomet. It is the Baphomet structure. And so, so the Mystic Mason, the inner Baphomet. And so we see at the top how, any of you that have been listening long enough know that I keep saying that it's India. And here I just discovered this past week in the process of putting this collection together. Again, this divine wind that the Heavenly Father is always helping out the project, because he wants everyone to know how they're being deceived and lied to. He's not happy that, the whole world has been deceived, and so that's, again, why he gives somebody like me a download, like he has, because it's not because I was worthy, but it's because he wants people to know the truth, that they're being run by an ancient culture. The ancient Brahmin come out of India, and the most ancient scriptures that we have as a collection, the oldest collection before the flood, are the Vedas. Veda is a spin on the word, like you see it in the Latin vita, which is vitamin vita for life. So the Vedas mean, the book of life, and actually in the collection that I have in the appendix in the back of the Real Da Vinci Code etymological dictionary that I did, I show the 3 volumes of the Veda, and on each cover they got the swastika, because it's the symbol of light. Just like you see the Veda coming out of an image of the sun, right? Because where does life come from? It comes from the sun. And so it's saying, the life of the sun. That's the logo, right? And so what's right below that, you see in the circle, is India, right? And so really all roads really lead to India. And when you watch the movies where they're giving their subliminal clues, like the movie called Knowing, or The Road, or they all escape me, the Matrix movies, and all those different movies that they have, Constantine, a big one, Constantine, and you always have the Hindu element. And the movie Gladiator as well, the original version from the 1950s in particular, you'll see the unseen hand. There, they show the unseen hand, Hitler was showing the unseen hand. When they all raised their arm, they're showing the unseen hand, because they're working for that unseen hand in a big mission, going to conquer all of Europe, other than Switzerland, of course. We wouldn't want to mess with our boss. But, they conquer, what nerve, right? I mean, who in the right mind would, what nation would want to go blow everybody else up, right? And enslave them and starve them to death and burn down all the Protestant churches, Well, it's the unseen hand, because they got to keep control of the ball. And so that's why throughout history they burned libraries, from India to Alexandria to the Washington D.C. library when in the War of 1812, when the bankers were trying to regain control, because there were good people here in America who were not a part of the clique. And so they're trying to throw this enemy faction out, not knowing how the game is played. And then you get the books, the Federalist Papers and the Anti-Federalist Papers, and you got this battle going on because we had legitimate people, regular people, thinking we're free when they didn't know that the behind it is the bankers who are actually controlling and running the show, and the unseen hand, right? And so if you look at the bottom of that graphic, what do you see? You see Christianity right about where the anal, the rectum of the Baphomet would be. You see Christianity of Christ, right where you know what I'm saying? Right where it would be. And so they put it right there at where you have a bowel movement, and then at the very bottom, the feet of the Baphomet are wrapped around the ball, Christianity of Constantine. So they moved away from the Christianity of Christ in that upper sphere, and that the very bottom sphere, it says the Christianity of Constantine. Well, Constantine is when they morphed the Roman Empire into a double state, and you got Constantine in Constantinople, Turkey. Where those young Turks, those Ashkenazi Jews came from as well. And the first mafia we had were called the Young Turks in the 1800s in America. And so Constantine said he had a vision there in about 318 or 320 in that general area. AD. Oh, after death. Well, what about after his resurrection? Maybe it should be AR for power, after resurrection. I like that one. And so what they were going to do is they were going to take control of the baby. They were going to take control of the so-called Christianity, and then morph it from a pacifist, peaceful, non-aggressive state into a militaristic state. So Constantine was a general, he was a warrior, and he said he had a vision in the sky of the Cairo, the X with the P, called the Cairo, and so he said this will be our symbol throughout all time, and he adopts Christianity. It's funny, he actually didn't get baptized till he was on his deathbed. I guess then he thought maybe it would be worth the investment to do it, But all they did, and as a result of that, making Christianity to a militaristic state, the antithesis, the anti state to the original state, then they went after the Middle Eastern Christians, and they took all of their copies of the Diatessaron, which were the four Gospels blended together, so that because paper was short back then, and so they blended the four Gospels together in one volume, and they got rid of all of them because they were in the original Aramaic script. The original Aramaic script you see right here, these capital letters. These capital letter words are all in the original Aramaic script, and they took it all the way in modern time, and it's right in our face, and we don't know, we don't get it, because they changed the script from this particular capital letter script to what's called a demotic script, meaning it looks like Arabic, right? It looks like pen scratchings on a paper, straight lines and dots, but the particular demotic for the Aramaic they made into called El Strangulo. So they're having fun with us again, because it means they strangled you. They strangled those people in the East, gave a new script, took away the symbols of the hieratic capital letter, what is also known as Phoenician alphabet. So you see there's a lot going on here. And on the very bottom right, it says church. You see right there, it says church militant, right? The bottom P for the sphere, because the sphere is being identified. The bottom sphere is P, or excuse me, letter B as in boy, and then the P is up above. Oh, and they're putting philosophy, so they're going to lace Christianity with a little bit of philosophy, as well. Mix a little of this, a little of that. That's what they do at the pulpit all the time in these modern day, Christian churches, right? It's all socialism. And but look what that bottom B is defined as: church militant, proselytism. We're gonna make you a good Christian, or we're gonna kill you. Which would you like? Okay, then we proselytized you. Good to have you. Here's a sword, by the way. We'll put the sword. And sword is synonymous with the word, as you can see. It's but it is a corruption. It's not the original. Shavor. Shavor is the word for sword. The original word shavor is sword, and it means savior. Also, savior, shavor is in there, and these are the things they stole from us. So look at that. At the very bottom, it says the sex, SECTX of Christendom. So they sectioned it. Sex means sectioning, and so that's what they did. So that's what a revelation. And look at this. They came out. They did this Indo-American, India American Book Company, 1911, 1911. So that's when they bring out this chart to their people as a warning. Warning, warning, bing, bing, bing. Pay attention. Don't look at the left hand, look at the right hand for the moment, okay? Because we're telling you, Indo-American, India, okay? I got maps, pictures of maps that show America was called, New India prior to the pretend discovery of Constantine, a new version of the same continent. But that explains why they called the traditional native peoples of America Indians, right? Because they were slaves of India. They were the chattel property of the East India, West India Trading Company, Dutch Royal, Jesuit, Jew culture. Okay? It's a mouthful, isn't it? I'm telling you, it's a lot to take in. But that's what a lifetime of study will do, ladies and gentlemen. It will help you to piece together the mystery of the puzzle, but then with the Spirit, the anointing of truth, the Spirit of the Great Father leading and guiding into all truth. The anointing is truth. You've seen that picture of the mountain I've climbed, right? I have that on the Strange Days Indeed. And that's what I did when I was 20 years old. I climbed that mountain wanting to get close to the Great Spirit, because I saw my own struggle, in this world. Hang on a minute. And so, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's a thick wick to burn, but we have to know these things, because we've been programmed. We need to be deprogrammed. So Kings of England, ever since King James I, this was a big, thing for me, because it was Robert Sefer, who does a wonderful presentation on YouTube, and he's an anthropologist. He's written several books, and he was the one who came out with the fact that King James was the founder of International Freemasonry. I didn't know that, and when I knew that little key, that little piece, it was like bingo, I get it. All right, so the Kings of England, are the heads of International Freemasonry, right? And so all the way down to modern time, right? Who's the last one we see as the head of Freemasonry? It was Prince Philip. Why didn't they ever refer to him as King Philip? Think about it, right? Of course, there's two reasons. One, the Queen is the representative of the Mother Church, of the occultic. So the Queen is getting prominent, because they're following a matriarchy and not a patriarchy. But at the same time, by not calling him king, nobody will get the picture that, wait a minute, okay, Prince Philip, he said he wanted to come back as a virus. I guess he did, right? Because he died just at the time, or he maybe went to Switzerland, just at the time, right? And all this stuff came down in 2020 in January, February, March, right? And we couldn't visit our friends anymore, couldn't had to cover ourselves, you know what I mean? And so, yeah. So Kings of England, ever since King James I, who gave us, the King James Bible, but wait a minute, if he's a Mason, he founded the 33-degree Scottish Rite Freemasonry. That means Masonic means mother, son of darkness. And so how can people say that the King James Version is the most important when he basically plagiarized William Tyndale, because it's 90% Tyndale, and with a bunch of different codes, Jewish codes in there that they put in, right? How come they don't want to recognize Tyndale and they want to recognize King James, the mother, son of darkness? Scottish Rite founder and the English king as the head has always been the most worshipful Grand Master of all international Freemasonry. You see? So let's just say for a minute, let's just do a what if. What if George Washington, really wasn't King George III, right? But I'm not sure what picture is coming up next. So let me fast. There we go. Okay, yeah, here we go. Good. Right. So let's just say for a moment that George Washington wasn't King George III, right? And he was just a regular guy and doing extraordinary things. Well, if he's a Freemason, then he doesn't own his allegiance to the American people nor to America. And if he's a Mason, that he's a good Mason, he's a good liar, and he's a good deceiver. And if he were just a regular guy, when he becomes a Mason, he then owes his allegiance to the higher authority of international Freemasonry, which makes him a foreign agent, which is another reason that the founders around 1812, which coincided with the War of 1812, they created the 13th Amendment to the 10 Articles of the Bill of Rights, and the 13th Amendment was gee, I got it on my wall here. I should pull it down. Well, it was regarding titles of nobility. Titles of nobility. And let me pull it down for the record, because see, people forgot about this stuff. This is what happens when the other ones get old and they pass away. Then people forget, and they never remember. They're counting on it. That people will just expire, and then good for them. And look at that. I got a picture back there. Hang on, I pulled the plaque off my wall, and I'm taking the catalog out. I got my Forbidden History, my last copy of the Forbidden History catalog here, and I'm gonna read it, because we got to get it on record, and people need to hear things they've not heard before. And so I produced the Forbidden History catalog back in 1997, and in the back I've got the missing what's called the missing 13th Amendment, and I know it's back here. Come on. Okay, here we go. Here we go, page 17. I just had a light go out. All right. Anyway, got another one behind me here. That'll work. Okay. So here's how it reads, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. And the reason I'll give why they did this, of course. So is this, and it was ratified, by the way. They got a few. They control the post offices, so they actually were able to intercept several of the ratifications, but enough came through to make it official. And then after the Civil War is when they pulled it out. They had to do the reconfiguration. They gave us the 14th Amendment at the same time, which had two subclauses. That never happened before. But anyway, here's the missing 13th Amendment. 13th Constitutional Amendment, titles of nobility or esquire. That would include corporations, by the way. Think of that. Think of secret societies. Think of blood oaths. Foreign allegiance, okay, all of those things are built within this, okay? If any citizen of the United States, and remember, this was written by the good guys because they saw what was going on to some degree and were trying to stop it, and this was the key to stopping the treason in America. If any citizen of the United States shall accept, claim, receive, or retain any title of nobility, well, that would include the Masonic degrees right there, a title of nobility or honor. In other words, title of nobility would be like, how a lot of the Americans go over to England and they get knighted and they become Sir, Sir Charles Burton, or, Sir, all these different people that have gone over there, right? Or shall without, okay, so let's try this again. So, if any citizen of the United States, and by the way, United has a small u, because it's the states of America. The word is States of America, and they changed that to United States of America. Another switch out. If any citizen of the United States shall accept, claim, receive, or retain any title of nobility or honor, or shall, without the consent of Congress, accept and retain any present, that means gift, pension, payoff, office, or emolument, more gifts, of any kind whatsoever, from any emperor, king, that's a key word there, 4-letter word, king, prince, Prince Philip, prince, or foreign power, such person shall cease to be a citizen of the United States and will be incapable of holding any office of trust or profit under them or either of them. Ratified in the second session, 11th Congress, ratified 1819. So it took them a few years, but they did it. And so maybe another reason for that Civil War, ladies and gentlemen, not sure. But yeah, so there you go. It's on record. And so it's been a pretty nasty battle all the way through. And this is why they have to keep burning libraries and keep, because these books were found by who was it? These books were first found in Maine, and then ultimately they were found in Colorado, talking about in the basement of the libraries, or some, back room. And so ultimately the modern patriots that I was running into, were discovering them. Even Stephen Ames Jr., my friend, as well, who they took down, he had discovered the missing 13th Amendment on his own. And, and so the books were still out there. They couldn't get rid of all the books because they were everywhere. They published them in mass, to make sure. And so this is what happened. So you see that basically the Freemasons, and they even killed Captain Morgan because he was trying to expose the Freemasons, because he was one. Then he found out what they were about, and then they drowned him in the Great Lakes. So it's really a shell game. And so if you don't have enough information, if you don't know about proper procedure or original history, or the political science, or the all the things that you got to know, ladies and gentlemen, it's easy to be on the sideline and not knowing who's playing. Well, by the way, what team is playing? We got the blue team, we got the red team. Which one is winning? Who's right? Who's wrong? I don't know anything. I'm just here on the sideline. It's look kind of interesting. I enjoy watching the game, but I don't know anything about it. No, I don't know. Don't ask me. But it is important. We were supposed to be sophisticated. They want us dumb as Bart Simpson. But we have a mind and a capability within our own reasoning and process. But we need information. If we're denied access to certain information, ladies and gentlemen, then we would be dumb as a cluck. And so yeah, so there's so much going on. And this photo right here with George in knickers with all black and a skirt, a woman's dress, and then that classic, but it's not a square. You see that Masonic compass and square is not on a square sheepskin. It's on something totally unique. Makes him look superior, does it not? Because it's not typical to all the others. Oh, and look at the chevron. Remember when I showed you the dollar bill? You saw the dollar bill and the chevron was pointing up, and underneath was the key, and then above were the balances on the dollar bill, the treasury seal, and it said, reading from bottom up, because the chevron was pointing up, said the key to offset balance. Look at here. The chevron is pointing down to the solar image. It's saying he's the sun. He's got the power of the sun. He's got the power of creation. That's what that is saying. Okay, I just noticed that again, doing the live presentation and talking about it a little bit more, you start to see things more while you're looking at it. Okay, so the blue sashes are worn by the royal families, and that stood out. I mean, the black already had got my attention 10 years ago when I saw those pictures, but now the blue sash, and we're putting this graphics together. And I said, wait a minute, blue sash coming in. And so I researched the blue sash, And what it said, the blue sashes are worn by the royal family, symbolizing the blue blood of an Aryan culture. Men who wear the black dresses, though, are Luciferian priests, and that includes the judge. That includes you know, the Catholic priests, and then of course it would have included the doctors. But if they wore black, you'd be questioning them, right? So they had to wear white, but the doctors would also technically be working in black clothing. But that's your white and black, right? The squares on the page, on the floor. Okay, so let's continue on here. Are we having fun yet? Ninja, you having fun?
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
This is fascinating.
All right, very good. And she's Lowe's being an insider here.
Yes.
And yeah, she's had her eye full. Okay, so basically, this is my quote because Confucius had a quote, and and it took me a long time to like I was scratching my head. It was like an incomplete thought because Confucius, the quote as it's being produced says, he said, "Signs and symbols rule the world." And and I saw that for like a couple decades, and then finally I said, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Signs and symbols don't rule the world. Signs and symbols tell you who is ruling the world. And you see, that's what we're doing here, right? We're reading all the signs and symbols, and they're shouting. They are shouting at us. And so I had to perfect Confucius. I bet you anything that's what Confucius probably originally said, and they took that part of it out because that would be telling too much truth, right? So thank you, Confucius, for the key. We got the key to that, and it's all about the keys. You saw those Vatican keys, right? And we're going to be talking about that in a minute here when we get there, because that's another part that took a long time to get the what these symbols were really telling us, right? So this is regarding the picture that's coming up next. So standing on the royal red carpet, that's where you're going to see the King George III. He's royal, so he's going to be standing on red carpet. If he's royal, standing on red carpet, wearing black of the Jesuit Jew priest hood. The colors of the Jesuit Jew priest. The flag is a Jesuit slavery flag, and the colors, red, white, and blue, are the colors of the elite. You thought they were your colors, ladies and gentlemen, right? But then remember what I said. The French flag is red, white, and blue. The Russian flag is red, white, and blue. The British flag is red, white, and blue. The Dutch flag is still, or was at least, the red, white, and blue, because these things change over time for various reasons, because people are getting the pictures. And and then the children that we're going to see on this graphic represent the prey. They prey on the little ones because the best way to get control, that's what they did to all of us, right? They got, as soon as we got out of the hospital, then first thing, we're being fed all of their food, we're being given all their toys, we're given all their programming on television, their cartoons. How about those violent cartoons? Remember the cartoons, how violent they all were? Violence in cartoons. And then the cartoon character just gets back up. He got killed, but yet he's a cartoon character, so he gets back up. Nobody got hurt. Like, I like, my favorite was the Coyote and the Roadrunner. Coyote and Roadrunner, and he's always getting blown up, but he always comes back for more. Wow, talk about multiple lives. But it's an indoctrination thing. That you think it's okay to hurt. We do stupid stuff, and we hurt others when we're little sometimes because we saw that stuff. And but why not? Like I used to, when I was homeschooling, I found in England a beautiful kind of like a cartoon, but they were like animations. They were animated puppets, so to speak, and they were called the Wind in the Willows. Ninja, did you ever grow up looking at Wind in the Willows?
Yes, I remember Wind in the Willows when I was very, very little, and I remember I loved it, but I can barely remember
Are they
it
listening?
now.
Are they listening in?
Yes.
Are they hearing this? Oh, good. Okay. You should say I'm unmuted. That way I don't have to keep asking you all the time.
Okay.
But yeah, Wind in the Willows, right? And they had the badger, and
Yes. It's all coming
and all
back
these
now. Yes, I
yeah,
loved it.
mole. There was the mole who was blind; he couldn't see. They all go sit down, have their cup of tea, and then those badgers were always creating trouble, right?
Yeah, and
The
there was
badgers
books
wrote.
as well. It
Yeah,
probably it originated with a book, probably.
oh, right, that's right, probably did. So anyway,
Yeah.
so and then I always thought, why didn't did they ever take this classic collection of Aesop's fables, and make an entire series of Aesop's fables, and where it teaches logic, teaches allegory, and symbolism and all, like the rabbit and the hare, how the hare who keeps on going slow and steady, he's the one who wins the race. The rabbit got stupid and fell asleep and lost the race, and
The
so those
turtle,
are the
the
things.
turtle
The
and the
tur
hare,
What did I say?
the rabbit and the hare.
Oh, the rapid. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's what'll happen to you when you're on a roll. Okay, thank you, Sister Ninja. Appreciate that. And so let's go on further here. So let's go to that graphic, and still waiting for that caller. I guess they're never. People are afraid that desert's gonna make them look bad or feel bad or something. I don't know what it is. Nobody talks anymore. We got all these communicators, and nobody talks, and that's okay. Um, I got a great presentation going on here, and I've waited a long time to do this. I didn't even expect to do it. Actually, it was just because I had pegged it, squarely, 10 years ago, and then somebody was confused, thinking like, what did he just say? And now I got to prove it, right? Because I'm going out there in a bigger production, and so okay, so we see there the Jesuit priest, and the head of International Freemasonry, and everyone's subservient. He's on the third step, the three steps. So he's the higher degree. The three steps would represent the Blue Lodge also. So he's representing the 33 degree Freemasonry and the Blue Lodge also, which goes back to Babylon, by the way, goes all the way back to Babylon. And then we found it in Jerusalem at the time when they killed our Redeemer, Yeshua, or Redeemer, not Deemer, Teamer. Brought the team back, those who wanted to go. And so you see the red, white, and blue, one star in the circle. You see, where do we ever see the American flag? We've seen the circle stars, right? But we never saw it with the star in the middle. So who do you think is the star in the middle? Ninja, you want to guess?
Um,
Who is the star in this presentation?
the star in this presentation is George Washington.
Thank you very much. King George, correctly, right?
Okay, we'll
King
go with
George,
that.
King George III, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you see, so they're telling you again, if you can read the symbol, and they're laying the cornerstone, and they call the scriptures. They don't call them scriptures in their lodge. You know what they call them? They call our scriptures the furniture. They got the Bible, which is Babel too, because they're really the shofar, meaning knowledge from afar. But we'll call it, the book. We'll call it the book on the table. They got the Quran on the table, and then they got the Tanakh, the Old Testament, on the table, and they call the sacred scriptures furniture. Well, furniture doesn't sound too sacred to me, you know. And so here's this fancy little clique. You see everybody in the background out there. Well, they got aprons on too. I see now. I'm noticing it for the first time. But the general population, because it's a small group, you know, it's an insider group, But even in the insider group, the lower degrees are on the outside. And as it says in the protocols of the learned elders of Zion that were found in Bavaria, because one of the agents got hit by lightning, fell off his horse, and they searched his body and found the protocols that were being delivered to the French Jews who were about to overthrow the royal kings in France with the French Revolution, which is the Jewish communism. And back there, they actually called each other comrade. When you watched like the Tale of Two Cities, the classic movie, the Tale of Two Cities in the French Revolution, they call each other citizen, but no, the word they really used was comrade. And actually, it goes even in Jerusalem, they were using a similar word with the same idea, the same motif, comrade, because it this is how they did it, so it goes way back. Nothing new under the sun, as they say, right? And so the little boys and girl, the boy and girl, and boy wearing the blue, girl wearing the the um, the pink orange sash. They represent their prey that they prey upon to initiate, like an Eastern Star. They do terrible things. So with some of these people, destroy their lives forever. And then on the carpet, on the red carpet, because the royal represents blood. Well, the flowers that she's putting down represent the flow of war, because the word flower is not the original word for the what we call flowers today. Those soft, beautiful smelling, very gentle petal flowers. But the flower is literally two words: flow, war, the flow of war. So it's showing that he will continue the operation, what Washington, D.C. became, the warfaring state, one of the three city states of the threefold cord, the city of London being the commerce, and city of Vatican being the religion, and the city of Washington being the military. And so the flowers, if you read words and symbols, then you know that it means that she's laying this on the steps. They're on the steps of waging war on this platform against mankind. And so that's how you read it, ladies and gentlemen. What can I tell you? I'm just reading the symbols. I didn't create these pictures. I'm just interpreting them,
Does it?
And yes,
Can I ask a question?
absolutely. And you're turned on?
Yes.
All right. All
Um,
right. You have to give me a number code or something. That way I don't.
okay,
All
during
right.
Skype screen share, I always open the mic in the OBS so that I can be heard and I'm not switching between screens. So just assume that I'm unmuted
All right.
everywhere.
All right. Well,
Okay.
yeah. Well, if it's a short yes or
Yeah.
no, or you're just engineering, that's fine. But if you're doing a statement, I will assume from now
Yeah.
on you are open, Mike. Okay? Because I want we don't want to leave people out. So go ahead, try it again. Take two. All right.
Okay. Um, Looking at that picture, and I don't know why it didn't come to me before when we were working on these graphics as well,
Mm-hmm.
spending the last few days looking at these pictures, um, with the red and blue. Um, I saw somewhere on the internet, read somewhere uh, a few years back, the history of red and blue in regards to blue representing a boy and red or pink representing a girl, and how parents do that when their child is born, like with the little ones. And the history of that, there was a switch there. Um, Red used to be for a boy and blue used to be for a girl. And I think that is more correct, because looking at the symbolism of that, red representing the sun, and the sun is a symbol of the father, and the blue representing the female, the mother, um, the moon. Is that correct?
Um,
Does that make
I'm not.
sense?
I'm not convinced. Okay, but in other words, what I was thinking, when you're saying it, that wrapped in everything is both male and female. And so anything is possibly one or the other, depending upon how you look at it. When I talk about sun and moon, right?
Yes.
Sometimes I refer to it as masculine, sometimes feminine, and the
Yes.
same with the moon. The moon represents the occult, but the moon also represents Yeshua. Why? Because there's a duality there, right? Because it's the softer, gentler light. We can look at the moon and go, ah, beautiful,
Okay.
right? But if you look at the sun, you can't look at the sun, right? Because it's so powerful.
Yes.
So the sun in that idea represents then the great spirit. It represents the great father, and therefore the moon is representing the lesser light, which is Yeshua, that we can relate to, that we can look at and not get destroyed immediately because of the great power that he has. Go ahead.
Okay. Well,
Right?
thank you. Yes, thank you for that because I wondered about that, um, and I'm
Right.
glad it popped back to the front of my mind so that I could
Oh, right.
ask. Yeah.
Very good. And we see a guy wearing a wig and a black robe again, putting on pretend hairpiece. Hair represents knowledge and wisdom in the original form, and it's kind of funny that they put those wigs on. So I don't know for sure what. Wig backwards. If the W is a V, it creates the word. Well, it's close to the word give and fig. So anyway, rather interesting. More to think about. So let's move on here. Thank you, Ninja. I appreciate that. And let's see where we're going to take us now. And it's amazing. They talk about fraternity and brotherhood and all this stuff, but yeah, what kind of a brotherhood is it where you'll slit somebody's throat, because they disagree with you? And anybody can come out. That's the good news. And you just send them your letter of demit, and that you're following the real light, the true light of Yeshua. That's all you have to do. And they won't like you very much, but they have to honor the truth. That we all have a right to think for ourselves and be free thinkers, and to live in peace with one another. But they wage war on mankind. They hate. Their religious book is the Babylonian Talmud, and so their book teaches that it's okay to rape little boys and girls at age 3, and that's how the mind control works. They do it generationally, from generation to generation, and that's how they do the mind control, because it begins when they're little, when they're helpless, and they take control of that helpless little life. Okay, so let's read about the dollar bill. Oh, the phony dollar bill. That reminds me of Bill Clinton. He had a $3 bill also. So on the top right, it starts out the Treasury shield. Reads from bottom up, and it says key to offset balance. So we got that one clear. And on the Jewish fiat currency, George is number 1. That's right. It's rather interesting that because he's in the royal family, that actually makes him an Ashkenazi, Khazar, Aryan Jew. And that went for the royal family back in World War II. That's why they put Hess in prison when he parachuted in or crash landed in Britain, thinking he was going to take down the Nazi regime, and then he gets thrown in prison, and he kept there for 40 years, so nobody will talk to him because he knows the secrets and the truth, and that German means Jew, right? And so you got and mind you, they never mentioned the Holocaust until the 1950s. Never mentioned the Holocaust, so they had to invent that one later on to cover their victimization of the poor Jew victims, that they're the victims of everybody. Everybody's always picking on them, while they print all the money and control everything on the planet. And, kind of funny when you think about it, isn't it? So anyway, so the Jewish fiat currency, George number 1. And on the back, it says, in God we trust, but we know if you add the royal, because the L is a royal vowel. It's a secret vowel. That's why it's called the vowel L. They took a vow to the L, the symbol of the obelisk, the symbol of light, the symbol of movement through time, which is what they do. And so it is in gold that they trust. They don't want the funny paper, the fiat currency. They want the gold. And when they took over again, as they do switch outs and reformations, creating new fronts in 1933, when officially the Federal Reserve took over, and the court system changed from common law to Roman civil law, and the Roman civil handbook on Roman civil law, which was the judge's handbook. I had a copy of it. It said in there the first thing you need if you want to create a security is a hostage. And so you became the hostage. The security is the birth certificate. You become the hostage. You're the slave, and you're going to go and do what they tell you to do, or they're going to take everything from you, like we see with the IRS, which is an agency of the Vatican Federal Reserve. So note that they are private institutions. They are not claiming to be the Washington, D.C. government, and D.C. government is a puppet show. And this is the real show, ladies and gentlemen, the real show, the money, and the Ashkenazis that are running all things. So in gold, they trust. They robbed the trust. They robbed the gold when they declared a bank holiday, and they outlawed the owning of precious gold and said, you turn in your gold, you go to prison for 20 years. Well, gee, gold is private property. So they deceived everyone because everybody's stupid, and only the people that were smart held onto their gold, and everybody else gave it all away for nothing, for paper, fiat currency. Masonic banking seal on the left shows two pyramids because the upper pyramid is not attached to the lower pyramid. So the upper pyramid, they say they got the power of the sun. That's the all-seeing eye. It's not representing the Great Spirit on here, because the Great Spirit, our Great Father, of course, is an all-seeing eye as well. But you go into the Vatican in the rotunda under the dome, and you see all those little eye slots. They got all these eyes looking down, and the word vicar, it goes back to the word watcher, which is in the Indo-Germanic or Indo-Aryan, excuse me. I don't use Germanic anymore. Indo-Aryan. It's the Vekoresh. In the original Aryan, it's Vekoresh, the watchers. So there's where the eye goes from the dollar to the ceiling of the Vatican. Okay, and so you got the right seal is the Jewish Luciferian moon. And it's got the Zionist star in there, yin yang, meaning that they occulted, because it should represent light. The six-pointed star should represent light. All creation comes out of it. The V comes out of it. But because it's on the left, they hid it within the occult Luciferian culture. Okay, and so in the olive branch and the arrows in the talons are indicating we're offering you peace, but we're going to give you war, or we're going to make peace with war. Ordo. How's that go? Order out of chaos, right? Ordo, I can't remember. Too much to remember, ladies and gentlemen. There's so much to remember in this stuff, and I don't want to remember it. I want to take the blue pill. Oh, the blue pill will help you to forget. All right. Let's see, where are we going here? Go to next page. And yeah, this is a rather interesting presentation. I don't think anybody's pulled one together quite like this before, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope the pictures are making things a lot more clear as to, they never taught you what the money is. It's not money, actually. And we got the all-time classic. Actually, let me just show you real quick before we go further on here, that on archive, and I'll just, for the listener benefit, if we go to archive, okay, we got here Mind Control in America by Stephen. Have to hear it once. If you've not heard it before, you got to hear it. And then Wake Up America, Exposing the Deception of Modern Money. Okay, so there's where you can find out the real nature of money. And Stephen did the two all-time classics. I'm so honored to be his longtime friend over 20 years. When I was listening to it in an 18-wheeler going cross country, I didn't even know Stephen at the time. I'm thinking, man, who made this? This guy's a genius. And so what am I doing? I'm on the wrong thing here. Oh, there we go. Okay, gotta go back to the other picture. Where am I? I'm totally, there I am. All right, here I am. Okay. You don't do this every day, you get a little confused. So Stephen, he defines the true nature of money. And so we see here then what they do is they, the official city states that are waging war on mankind mentally, financially, and physically, all of these things together. So, yeah, it's quite a deal. And that pyramid, that particular pyramid, it's not a Giza pyramid. It doesn't represent any of the pyramids in Egypt. It does represent them, but it's not the style, was what I mean, because it's too steep, right? And so this pyramid is actually found in Washington, or in Rome. It's actually it's a monument pointing back to Meitzar, Egypt, pointing back to when that was the front office back then, before the flood. Then they were ruling the world, pyramid civilizations around the world, Central and South America, North America, and also in the other parts of the world. And so this is a reminder of the ancient past, but it's very steep, and so it's just a model of the ancient pyramids. Okay, so continuing on here, And of course, look at the red. I mean, come on, right? There's your red. There's your blood on mankind, your spilled blood. That's what it represents, and that's where it is right there. Also see it on Santa Claus, because Saint Nick means secret. Santa is feminine, so it's the hidden woman, Santa Claus. That's why he also has the long hair with the beard, representing male, female, um, and a whole lot more can be said about all that. There's the three stars in Washington D.C., so representing the three city-states. Okay, and so Rothschild, he said, "I care not what puppet is placed upon the throne of England to rule the empire on which the sun never sets." And they never, conquered the world. It never happened with England. It was the Dutch royal enterprise that did it. And I'll explain that in a second here. But okay, so I don't care who gets on the throne. The man who controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire, and I control the British money supply. So the Dutch royal Jesuits. I saw a documentary one day. They're telling a lot of truth in these documentaries. You got to be able to sift through the lies and the truth. But the Dutch Navy had 2,500 ships run by the Jesuit Dutch Royal British East India, West India trading companies. Okay, and so they're the ones who founded New York, the Dutch. Then somehow magically, then the British take over. Well, wait a minute, but the British only had 150 ships. Oh, I see. So Britain must be a puppet state. Of course, Britain is the puppet state of the Vatican. And so they're a corporation, just like when I read the titles of nobility, the way corporations work, they're shills, they're shells, and they're used to meet an end. So the Dutch had 2,500 ships. Britain only had 150. How could they have conquered the world with 150 ships when the Dutch had 2,500? You see? So the Dutch are the ones setting up the chess pieces on the board, and then the British come over and pretend that they take them over. You see? And so it's not, so Britain is not even ahead. Britain is a puppet, just like King George III is a puppet. Just like, therefore, now as president, managing the corporation and the slave plantation in the Americas, George Washington is the puppet. They're all puppets, but they look pretty good, don't they? I mean, they make them look pretty good. George Washington in his coronation with gold, wearing the gold, and then he's got the little loincloth on, with all the lapels and all the colors and all the symbols, and then to the regular people looking like demigods, right? Demigods. I'm a god, most worshipful, the head of each community. They call the Grand Poobah the most worshipful master. What? Oh, I mean, in other words, there's nobody above them then, right? If they're the most worshipful, the most means maximum, everything, the most worshipful, then they worship the demigod at the head of each lodge, as representing then in character the King of England, who is just another front and puppet representing the Rothschild, who is just another front and another puppet representing the Vatican, who is just another front and another puppet representing the Hinduism, who is another front and another puppet representing Brahmanism, the ancient Aryan sovereigns running the world from India. And that's why we see it in the word industry, India, industry. And they got the 500-mile race around Indianapolis 500 every year. There's no town square in Indianapolis. It is a circle, and it's intersected with all of these rays of light representing highways coming from all the four directions. Go look at a map. So again, reading the signs and symbols, ladies and gentlemen, tells a story. I like to call them the most worshipful monsters, because that's what they are. They are monsters. And they hate your guts. They hate everybody but themselves. Oh, and they love their funny money and their precious automobiles and their fancy houses and all their image and phony prestige. But here's what Rothschild says to Chucky Boy. Hey, Chuck. Prince Charles, heir to the British throne, getting poked in the chest by Evelyn de Rothschild. Now you listen to me, you little twerp king, Chuck. I'm the one giving all the orders here. Okay, boss, do you want me to go clean toilets or do something else? Well, you can clean toilets for now, boy, but we got something really important for you to do. You're going to be a front man. You're going to be an image. Everybody's going to be looking at you instead of looking at me. And then you do what I tell you to do, and you'll be okay. You won't be transcending. You're mother, son of darkness. You'll be drifting out in space for the rest of eternity, wishing you had a body to go back to, but maybe if you're lucky, you will. After you've paid some time for all the people you've sold out on this planet and waged war on them. How many little infants have you taken home with you, huh? Chucky boy? The Jewish Illuminati. Okay, it's a fact that the Jews founded, those who call themselves Jews founded the Jesuits. You got Loyola. Loyola found a Jew, founded the Jesuits. Loyola is another code because it's loyal, and you read it both ways. It's loyal, frontwards and backwards. And it was the Bavarian University in what we call Germany, or Ingolstadt, Germany, and and they that's where they learn. Like the Bill Clintons, they go to the Rhodes Scholarship. Chris Christopherson, they were Rhodes scholars, so they went to the School of Rhodes to learn the true history. That's why when they come out of the gate, then they know what the score is. They're insiders, we're outsiders. Same with the University of Loyola, the the Jesuits that go there to learn. What do you think they learn? They learn the true history, plus they learn how to speak in code, how to, what the symbols mean. So you got one group on Rhodes Scholarship, the School of Rhodes, the regular puppets, the small lower class. Then you got the Jesuits learning also. So they're all learning the secrets, all learning how to read symbolism, all learning code words, all of that stuff, signs and signals, symbols, hand signals, all of that stuff is what they learned there. And they're loyal to their cause. And the mommy's going to feed them. They won't have to work hard. They get a convent in the back with women they could, have fun with, and they're all thinking they're on, in the religion, like, the innocent ones that come in, like the guy who came out, who was a Jesuit. What's his name? I can't remember his name. And he exposed the fact that the Jesuits created Islam, and because they wanted to use Islam to destroy all of Eastern Christianity, and now they're gearing up for the World War III, as it said in Albert Pike's book, Morals and Dogma, the 33 Degrees of International Freemasonry, that the Third World War, they will destroy all Christianity. It'll be done with, over, nada. See? And so at the same time, their world is now being destroyed by their foolishness and their modern industrial age. Where now, that's why they got to go underground, because they've destroyed our environment. It's over. If you listen to Dane Wigington, you'll learn more about that. Okay, but the Jewish Illuminati, the Illumined Nazis, because they are Ashkenazis. That's Ashkenazi is an abbreviation for Aisha Cain Nazaré. Aisha Cain Nazaré. Aisha is the royal eye, so they're royal eyes. They think of themselves as the royal eye. Aisha Cain, the offspring of Cain, the brotherhood of Cain, which is where we get the word king. Kingdom is Caindom, meaning those who are stained in blood. That's what Cain represented with the red hair, spotted freckles, the stain of blood, and leprosy. That's where we get Leprechaun, Leopard King. Had the pot of gold kicking his heels because he's real happy. He's doing his job. He's the front warfaring class, and also the puppet kings, the Illuminati, also known as the International Freemasons. That's what ultimately it became after the Knights Templars went underground. They killed the lower class because they hate us. They use the lower class, and they make them Freemasons, they make them Knights Templars, but when they're done with them, they kill them, and the other goes underground. That's the way they've been doing it all along. There's no honor among thieves, and if you're goyim, you're goyim. If you're not one of them and you're just hired on, got bought into the illusion, then in the end you go down with the rest of everybody else on the ship. So they claim to have founded America, the Illuminati, on May 1st, And that's why they use the code signal, Mayday, Mayday, because that's to remind them, hey, I'm one of you. I'm one of you. Don't forget me over here, Mayday, Mayday. And I'm wearing my dog tags. I'm one of your dogs. And so they founded America on May 1st, 1776, and it's a maxim of law that says that which is first is superior. Okay, so that which is first is superior, and then they gave us the July. Isn't that so clever of them? To give us the fourth of the July. It's a Jewish lie, right? Because it's all a lie, isn't it? And so why is it on the fourth? Because the four represents the four directions. It means everywhere. The cross in the four directions means everywhere, and just like news is built upon four letters: north, south, east, and west. The news sounds like Jews, and it is also the north, south, east, and west quadrant, showing that they rule, they control the world, they manage the world. There is no freedom. There's only slave management. You are a slave on the plantation. You've been fooled and lied to all your life. You've never heard truth before. We never went to the moon. There is no money. It's only funny. And they control all the media. While they wage the wars, they create the propaganda films. And after they're done with the war, they make all the movies that say it their way, so that we don't ever get the right pictures and the true events of what really happened behind the scenes. It's the greatest show on earth, ladies and gentlemen. The stage has been set for you a long time ago. The Jewish Illuminati, the Illuminazis, also known as International Freemasons, claim to have founded America on May 1st, 1776, the same day they founded International Communism, right hand, left hand, at Red Square in Moscow. The Illuminati founded America. Illuminati are communists. Illuminati are the Jewish financial organ on the planet. It's the left hand, it's the right hand, it's the hidden hand, and it's the unseen hand that wears the velvet glove and strokes you and makes you feel good until one day they're ready to take the velvet glove off, and then they're going to smack you in the face with cold, hard steel. That's the name of their game. They're everywhere. Apartment. That's why I get gang stalked when I go out, because I know too much. They're coming for me, but they're coming for you. They control the East. They control the West. West is also corruption, because it means that which rises. In other words, you see it in the word yeast, which means the yellow East. And what rises in the East before the sun rises in the West is the Hindu state of India, where it looks like they just care about religion over there, but behind it all is the power broker that is running the world. They're not just in India; they're all over. Switzerland, Tibet, Burma. All the secret enclaves around the Scandinavia. What's called Germany. They're all spread out, but this is where it all started, in the East. And so left hand, right hand, the double-headed eagle. It's one bird. You can see it's wearing one crown, and it's stained in blood. It's the brotherhood of death. They hate your guts. You're not one of them. Therefore, you can be chewed up and spit out anytime they're done with you. The greatest show on earth, ladies and gentlemen. The sword in the talons. Okay? So one of the old stories I remember growing up, I always heard that, oh yeah, George Washington, he had wooden teeth, It's like, why would that even be important? Number one, why would it? So the only reason it's important is because it's telling a story, you see. And then finally, one day it clicked with me. I said, yeah, Woden teeth. He had Woden teeth because Woden, because I studied Norse mythology as well. And Woden, in other words, Woden's day is Wednesday, right? And so when we hear Supreme God, Woden is the Supreme God, but it's a synonymous character with Yeshua. In other words, hang on. In other words, what they call God, we use the word God, but it's really a Vatican term, or we use the word El for Elohim. All of these words, they're all referring to the great Zulafhaim, or the Elohim is, most people have heard, but not Zulafhaim, which is in the Aryan, Germanic, the Indo-Aryan. I'm getting away from Germanic now because I know it means seat of the moon, and it's not correct. We got to get back to original form. But so where was I going with this? Great. Let me think. Okay, that the word, in other words, in Norse mythology, what Woden or Odin means is the supreme god, right? So when we think of God or Elohim or Zulafhaim or the great Yahweh or Yahweh, all these terms that were original, it's the same implication. It's the supreme one. Okay, so it's not like it's a pagan god. You wouldn't use the word pagan god for Woden, because in other words, it's just they're trying to describe in their culture the supreme one. Okay, that's what it means. So when it's said that George Washington has wooden teeth, it means that he is the supreme god. Because the teeth is the most powerful symbol on your body. Okay, because it's of its nature, and because the teeth represent power symbolically. So when you interpret the code, when they say George Washington had wooden teeth, it means that George Washington had the teeth or the power of the supreme god. That's what he was in the basement of the Capitol in Washington. That's what he was when he was up in the ceiling in the rotunda in the graphics up there, and they're blowing the horn and showing the fasci, right? That he is the supreme demigod. He's a god, a man god, being the most worshipful master of the Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Okay, so I know that's a big wow, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? You never heard, like you've never heard anything like this before. But they've been telling it to us all of our lives, but we're not initiated. I was initiated by Yeshua. You see, he is my seed planter. He is my teacher. He is the one who anointed me. He is the one who inspired me to climb a mountain back 45 years ago to get the vision, because I wanted to know. And little did I know what do you want to call it? A bite, to use the word teeth, how much I was biting off. I had no idea when I had the vision. But the first place I ever lived was called the Right Place. That was the street I lived on, Right Place, 98 Right Place. 1998 was when I fell victim to a government sting operation. So that when I look back at my life, I would notice that I said, wait a minute, 1998, I'm being persecuted by the West Virginia government, Freemasons trying to kill me. And here I was born at 98 Right Place, the first place I lived for 5 years. Wait a minute, what? 98 Right Place. And then I calculated 1998 just to find out what that meant, because I knew that's. So anyway, I divided. I don't know how I did it, how I thought of it, but I divided 1998 by 3. Or no, I did it like I knew that 666 represented a star, the sun, the 3 sixes of creation, and the 6 representing 6-pointed star also. Representing sun, earth, and moon, therefore the triplex of sun, earth, and moon. So I somehow I either divided 1998 or I multiplied 666 times 3, and I got 1998. Or I divided, just because I was curious. I was working with the number. What else does it mean? And little did I find out that 1998 was 666 times 3, or three groups of 666, right? Meaning it wasn't just a star. But what was happening to me was a nova. It was a sunburst, that what the Father, and then I had the vision while I was in there, while I was fighting for the trial of my life, that the Father gave me the vision that I was going to be working with words. That's another story. I don't want to get in deep in all that now, but I had a vision. I fasted for 22 days. I didn't eat food. I only drank water because I was in the trial of my life, and I wanted a vision, and I got one. And the Father showed me, that I would be, translating the scriptures and the words, bringing forth the original words. and I've been pursuing it all my life. But now he was giving me the official heads up on it, with a vision, and it was like, wow, thank you, Father. And he set me free from that. Got the record for the longest case in West Virginia's history, 26 months of torture, never went to prison, 2 trials, walked out of the courthouse at the second trial. I refused the attorneys to help them. They had to do it on their own. And the more I rejected them, the more they wanted to work for me. It was wonderful, you know? And so, and they're all working for the Vatican. They're all agents, of course, right? And so I embraced Jeremiah. After they beat me up in the courtroom because I refused to sit with the attorneys, they tried to bring me back in after they broke the nerves in my hand, stomped on my chains on my feet, did me some harm, but still ticking. And they tried to bring me back. Are you going to sit with those attorneys now? And I said, you tell the judge that Jeremiah, and I don't remember the site now, Jeremiah something, the numbers, quote this for him, that woe unto the man who puts his trust in man, because he has moved away from the Lord. I will not sit with the attorneys. And so they had the trial with me sitting on the side, and so, I mean, come on, I'm facing the trial of my life, accused of the worst crime on earth when they committed the crime, and I get framed for it, and so the Father, he was there with me all the way. I had more visions during that period of trial and incarceration, false incarceration, than any other, the whole of the rest of my life, so the Father is using me, and he's using me to help get you to see, ladies and gentlemen, because remember these important scriptures, where there is no vision, where you cannot interpret a symbol, where there is no vision, the people perish. People perish for a lack of knowledge. Okay? You're not going to hopscotch and skip your way toodaloo into eternity. You're going to go there with definiteness of purpose, in being, in separating yourself from the illusions and the lies, because the truth is not a part of any lie. 1 John 2:27. The truth is not a part of any lie. Okay, so the cyber code, George, that's the ultimate cyber code. Remember, it was also about George gonna slay the dragon. I guess it was King George. I don't know, but I used to have the book George Slaying the Dragon, and I never read it because I didn't have time to read it, but I eventually gave it away. And so the dragon is the serpent. That's us. The flesh is the serpent. The dragon that we have to slay is the self. So I learned when I was working with Chi, who used to tune in on the program, but he got other things in his life that he's not been around for a good while. But he was reading German with me because I was trying to learn the German by reading Luther's translation in Deutsch, not German, Deutsch, and Deutsch, correctly, the torch, Deutsch, and so we were reading 1 John, and so he clued me in that the GE is the get. It's you find it at the end of words, and you find it as the word the at the beginning of the words, and so it's the get. And so I finally came clear that the get is synonymous with the chi, CHI, which interestingly, Chi had the first name Chi, and that's what I got through this connection. And then the Chi is the K, correctly. Chi is K, and K is what we see in our modern as key. Khay is the original. It means the short song. Let's take a break, and I'll be right back with everybody. Okay, can we do that?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, I see something spinning right now, so I hope everything's okay.
So do I.
Oh, it's back. It's back. All right, let's go to a song and give me a quick break, and then we'll be right back. It's okay. 5 minutes on average, be fine. Okay, whatever you can find. And I hope I don't close anything. I'll be right back. Okay, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Forbidden History Live, the series on Ask Desert Owl and the Original Thought Transliteration Project. What they did want you to know that we tell right here because somebody's got to do it. Can you imagine I can spew out all this stuff and I can't even get an interview out there? Nada, because all the so-called grassroots media appear to be somebody other. Yeah, called the control opposition, left hand, right hand. They control all the hands, the unseen hand. You know what I mean? So that's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. You know that they've squashed all, original thought. They took over the baby. They take over all, the narrative. I'm sort of, I feel like a dinosaur. I'm sort of like the last of Mohicans. All the people I used to work with back years ago. I was a latecomer. I was seeing all the veterans dying off, all the great researchers, Mr. Friedman, classic name, and major discoveries by this gentleman. Then, of course, Dr. Eugene Schroeder of the agricultural movement, and Gary Graham, J.C. Van Kirk, all of the Take Texas movement, Take Texas Back movement, and the Texas Republic. I was a part of that, wrote a song for the Texas Republic movement. Yeah, those are the days when actually there was more ability to talk on a public forum, but now there's virtually nowhere to go. So let me see here. We're going to do a screen share. We're going to get back to the presentation. Almost done, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate your patience. Hope I got things together still. Yeah, we do. All right, we're doing a screen share. We're good to go, Ninja?
Yes.
All right.
Good to
Thank
go.
you. All right. So we're going to read right here real quick, and we're almost done. I see we're at our normal stopping point, so we're just going to finish these graphics as quick as we can, and we'll be out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, glad you tuned in. I want to welcome any new listener to the broadcast as well. The cyber code, George, key, GE equals key. That's interesting because we got a company called General Electric, so they're playing on it right there. General Electric, power of the sun, and moon, the power of the keys, because in the primary sense, the two keys are sun and moon. That's why you got one gray key and you got one golden key, sun and moon. It was always about getting the ore. And so in the middle, so you see in ore, you got the word ray. So ray, and so, but it's always about the ore, the mineral wealth. That's how they built the empire, with the mineral wealth, whether it's gold or copper or tin or, you name iron, it's all theirs, and they're digging for it. And so it was always about getting the ore, the argyle, which is the Scotch kilts, they got Scotch, got the vertical lines and horizontal lines crossing each other, and those are the crossroads. And so they represent all the roads on the planet, there's even a road, there's even a Argyle, Pennsylvania, near Philadelphia, just near Philadelphia, the city of brotherhood, so to speak. I don't see any brotherhood anymore. Never, hardly ever did, actually. And but anyway, so there's a town called Argyle. I think it's right on the Appalachian Trail, also. Which is rather fitting because they want to harvest a lone individual. That's where they can do it. And so all roads are their roads, and all roads lead to Rome, but it goes deeper than that. That's the rabbit hole, ladies and gentlemen. It goes far deeper. Let's continue. And that crown, the tiara, you got the three crowns. See, there's three crowns on the tiara, and it's the triple state. And the cross up there, let me stop that. Hang on, come on. The cross on the top, that's your symbol for everywhere again. You see, everywhere. And in the keys, you got the cross in the keys. It means everywhere. Like when you saw the German Ashkenazi with the Knights of Malta cross, again, everywhere. They're everywhere. The Nazis are everywhere, running the world for the unseen hand. You got to read the symbols, got to read the symbols. And there's the royal sash. See the royal sash? Got the cross on them? Everywhere. They're everywhere. And the circles, this is how you can know it's sun and moon, because you got the two circles. See, that's playing on that. Sun and moon playing on the circles. And okay. And so next one, again, we got the keys. And notice one is up and one is down. What's above as below. But also the cross, which means everywhere, is in the circle. But look what's interesting. What's coming out of the circle with the cross is what looks like a flowing stream, right? A flowing stream, and we could see the symbolism that it's a river of blood. That's what the symbolism is. It's the symbol of blood. Let the blood flow. Oh, you remember in the movie Constantine, right at the very beginning. Well, somewhere towards the beginning in the middle, there was this Mexican who got found the spear, found the what was that called, the Spear of Destiny, and he got the power because he got the Spear of Destiny, and so as he's walking back to L.A., the city of Los Angeles, that's the Lost Angels, those are the ones we're talking about that are ruling the world. The Lost Angels is the ancient Aryan Watchers. That's what the city was named after. That's where we got Hollywood, just south of there, right? So the city of the Lost Angels, Malekane, royal messengers, the lost royal messengers, who had all the knowledge of creation that could build the modern society, know how to do all the things that they've done with industry. Oh, that's where I was going when I was in the India thing, that to know that we're in India still, we use the word industry. Indus Valley, the river of the the valley of the five rivers, called the Sindh, the Indus Valley, where industry began. And Indian is India, industry is India, and we got this, all Indianapolis is India, and so it's in our face, but we can't interpret it. So the river of blood is coming out of the world in the symbol with the cross and the circle, symbol of the world, the four directions. Everywhere the blood is flowing, is it not? Right? No. I mean, that's what they're doing on our planet, everywhere. War. Now they're mass genocide, right? You better download this thing when we're done, because it may not be around very long. All right, I can't. But who that guy is? Let me back up real quick one more time here. He's got the halo, so you see, this is what we would call a saint, right? But this disc behind them, they're claiming the power of the sun. They're claiming to be the anointed ones. They're claiming. Then we got the finger. Look, we got the cross finger, right? The cross, like, cross your fingers, hope to die. I'm telling a lie, they're always using those hands. You always look at them, and and look at, yeah, and on the left hand, you see he's got two splits. In the middle, the fingers are together, but on each side of the two middle fingers, you got the split, and it's representing the letter M for mother. And you'll see that classically. They'll want you to think it was Mary Magdalene, Mary from Magdala, but it's not. It's mother. Just like the movie, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I think it was called, and they were getting their briefing in England, and Sean Connery was in it, and the guy who played the Jekyll and Hyde, they had all these unique characters, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and so when they were getting their briefing, they were being briefed by M, and M, represents mother, their goddess, Lucy in the sky with diamonds, So, yeah, you got to read. You got to be a reader, ladies and gentlemen. Get a book on symbols and start learning what symbols mean, and that will help you. That's what I did. I read one encyclopedia and one book on symbolism. Okay, so what's the result of all that? Right? That there's power in secret knowledge. That's why they only give the lower degrees so much. And as they develop and they get closer to the club, then they give them a little more secret knowledge, a little more power, sense of power and prestige, and and yeah, you're doing good, boy, come on, and you're getting close to the gold, and I guess the goal is to become a good communist, right? Because that's what they create. They're the ones that are ushering in all the revolution. They, as Albert Pike said in the book of Morals and Dogma, he said, "We wage all revolutions." They wage all revolutions. The Freemasons, right? And so that they gave us the French Revolution. That was the Jesuit Jews that they didn't like King Louis anymore. They wanted it just like they did it to the English, right? They did it. They took over England, because it's always a battle struggle between the royals. That's what they did. They took out the Romanovs, right, with Lenin and Trotsky and on a train load of gold. They took a rail car full of gold and went and took down the Romanov family because they didn't want the banks. They didn't want the Jewish banking. Even though they were part of the team, they were royal families related to all the other European royal families, but they for some reason forgot or didn't know how the game was played or just got headstrong, and so the Jewish front had to come in. The Bolsheviks, Bolshevik means majority, and it was only 100 kites out of New York. What do you think? 100 kites out of New York took down the Russian Empire. Wow. That's power. When you got all the gold, I guess you can buy anybody you want, right? Go figure. History is a set of lies that has been previously agreed upon. Napoleon Bonaparte. He was one of their players. Yeah, that's why he never lost a battle in the beginning. He kept on ticking because he was the cleanup. He was the cleanup boy. We need to get rid of some of these free-thinking states that are getting out of control now, Napoleon. So go take them down. Let's get back in order out of chaos, create a little chaos. And then in the end, he betrays his own French army, marches them all the way to Russia, and in the dead of winter, strands them there. He takes a fast horse back to France, and they literally take down their own people, about 100,000 of them, give or take. Amazing. What a legacy. It's a shell game. Bring one up, take one down. Bring one up, take one down. Up and down, up and down. Right hand, left hand. Which hand is it? It's the hand that's affecting us all, ladies and gentlemen. None of us are immune. And then we got this wonderful quote. I like this guy wearing female glasses. I mean, come on, right? Female glasses. Looks real funny. And he says, "We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false." Wow, I guess that's a pretty honorable guy, huh? William Casey, former CIA director from the first staff meeting, 1981. So Casey got a dose of his own medicine, I think, because he ended up face down in the Potomac River. That's where he got his last reality. Got taken down by his own people. Maybe he was a little too brash, like with a quote like this, right? Come on, that's in our face, right? But he felt pretty proud, I guess. So you never know. Yeah, in our face. So when you put all these pieces of the puzzle together, ladies and gentlemen, it's quite a clear picture, is it not? That's like I've been looking at all these different pieces for all these years, and I said, wait a minute, let's grab them. Let's grab them and put them together, because true reality cannot be taught. It can only be realized. You got to see and read it for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. You got to know that you know that you know. You got to be better than them. You got to purify the heart and mind. You've got to connect with the one who made all things, because the one who made all things and makes all things, because he still does, reveals all things. You don't have to be alone. You can be connected. You ask for help. Get on your knees. Read the word. He is the word. Even though that word is corrupted, but he is the Eshavor. He's the royal eye at the center. The Shavor, the savior. The shower. The sower. All of those words in Eshavor, the original for word. In the Greek, they call it logo, but logo means the true way, and the true way is the light. So the sun is the logo. The sun represents the true royalty, the one who made all things. That's the sun. They even demonize the sun. They call it, when you want to talk about the sun, you're worshiping the sun. No, it's the portal. It's where everything came out of. All the planets and the moons going around the mother star. Okay? So if you haven't investigated anything, then you can't know anything because you have been lied to all of your life about everything. It's a fact. So turn off the mainstream programming and be deprogrammed because it's not too late, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it's a work and it's a whack upside the head. It's a walk. It's the long walk, because it's not an easy road to wake up to how all the games. Who wants to, who likes to hear that they've been lied to by their spouse, right? Or bad enough being lied to by your, but what about lied to by those who, your preacher, lied to by the politician, lied to by your teachers in school, lied to by the television, lied to about everything, lied to about the war. There is no war in, the two armies fighting in Gaza. There's no two armies over there. There's one army. And they're slaughtering beautiful men, women, and children, babies, innocents. Pseudo Israel created Hamas for their agenda to create an excuse. So it's called a false flag. They did it in Germany when they invaded Poland. They did it with Pearl Harbor. The Roosevelts knew full well that Japan was going to strike because it's one of the players on the chessboard, and it was going to be the excuse to get us in a war, World War II. It's always a false flag. Always. It was the Reichstag in Germany. It was 1775 on April 19th, the high occult day, with Crispus Attucks, the black patriot in New England, when the shot was fired around and heard around the world. A false flag to create the Revolutionary War. The Redcoats just shot down a bunch of loyalist Americans, including Crispus Attucks, a former slave, and shot them all. And that was the excuse to create, and that's when they burned down the Branch Davidian, April 19th. That's when the Warsaw Ghetto burned, April 19th, always April 19th. And Columbine, April 19th. Look at the patterns, see the patterns, ladies and gentlemen. And this profound quote, you go look in your scripture in Revelation 2:9, Revelation 2:9, because they put in, this is the evidence that they changed their scriptures, because they put the word Jew in there, that there would be those who call themselves Jews or not Jews, but that's not it. They replaced the words, okay? They changed all the words throughout our scriptures from beginning to end. And it should say, I know the blasphemy of those who say they are Israel, but they are not Israel, for they are the temple of the serpent cult. And the serpent cult is the Vatican. The Pope is wearing the serpent hat of Dagon, and Dagon is the dragoon. The dragoon is the serpent that drags upon the ground. Okay, so they changed our words. A Jew is not a Judean. They want you to think that a Jew is Judean, and there's no parallel. And not only that, but the word Jew did not exist prior to the 1700s. So how come it's in all of all of our scriptures? There is no Jew in the, there is no W, there is no J, and letter E is of the earth. So that can't be, a higher culture. They're in the Talmud, they're in the mud, the Talmudians, okay? That the religious book where they hate your guts, where they call you goyim, and it's not murder to kill you. And in fact, they're coming for you because they hate your guts, and they either going to make you a slave. They say that each Jew gets 2,000 slaves. They brag about it. You can find a YouTube on it. They want to enslave you if you're ripe for the picking, or they'll just kill you. They don't care. One way or the other, they'll be happy. They'll be happy because they call themselves the chosen. Chosen for what? Chosen to wage war on mankind. Bauer, the vow for war, for perpetual war on mankind. And it's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. The people will die to defend the lie for all of these actors on the stage. And it's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here, right? Somebody's got to do it. And I'm sick of it, ladies and gentlemen. It's sickening to be preoccupied with this type of information, to have to, you know, research and reveal this stuff, and to be targeted at the same time, and gang stalked and threatened with your life, your apartment being broke into, all the things they do, try to run you over. The first casualty of war is the truth. And the first thing that you should put on your body must be the truth, ladies and gentlemen. The truth can set you free. The truth is not a part of any lie. You have to come to the next level of consciousness. Consciousness is being conscious of being conscious. That's Zell Lundgold. Rest in peace, Zell. They killed him when he was revealing the true mystery of the Mayan calendar, because it harmonized right with the 6 great periods of creation in our scriptures. Not 6 24-hour days, but 6 billion years. Our Father is so great, he's in no hurry. He took 6 billion years to bring this story to unfold right here, right now. 6 billion. So evolution is part true, and spontaneous creation is part true, because we did not evolve on the earth. We are foreigners to this earth. We were made by the great Zuluf Hain, and he breathed breath into us, brought us into the higher possibility. Because in the beginning, the reason we got to be born again, which is correctly become the second born, is because the first creation is of the earth, and we need the second creation. The second creation, ladies and gentlemen, is the spirit. That's the true promised land. That's why Israel could not receive the truth. That's why she was abolished in 724 BC. And what we have left is a pseudo-Israel that came out of Babylon, that tells you where the doctrine comes from. The square root alphabet we call Hebrew today came out of Babylon. The principles that the Pharisees live by, washing cups and can't do this, don't do that, do this, give me all your money, you're being taxed for everything. That all comes out of Babylon. Control, control, control. Ladies and gentlemen, are you sick of it? I hope. I know I am. I'm sure you are too, Ninja. Sure, yeah, Ninja's sick of it, and so this is a open mic. If anybody wants to call in, we're going to close it out now. Otherwise, I knew this was going to be a separate presentation, and we didn't get to the Kolbrin, but we will get to the Kolbrin on the next program. We're also going to try to ramp up on Forbidden History Live on Odyssey. I'm losing my voice now. And we're going to bring on live there, because I feel more comfortable swinging over there, saying it the way it is. And there, eventually those things are going to change too, because the AI, oh, look at this. I got a call coming in from Cecilville, Ohio. Let's see who this is. Yes, can I help you? Can I help you?
Yeah, I wanted to call and speak to Desert.
Okay, you got me.
Hi, Desert. You don't know me. Nice to meet you. I've been following you for a while through Christian Walter's work.
Yeah.
And I wanted to speak to you.
Well, great. I'm good to have you. And your first name is what?
Malik. My first name is Malik.
Malik? Oh, yeah. We talked on it on the website the other day, right?
I don't believe so. Which website? Which website would that be?
No, not the website, but you left me a message on one of the programs.
Yes, one of the videos. Yes, one of the videos. I left a message on there for you.
Yeah, I recognize the word Malik as being Malik, means messenger.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
So Malik, you're in Ohio to boot, huh?
yes, I'm in Ohio.
What location? I'm in Central Ohio.
I'm in Orient, Ohio.
Orient, of all places. What a name, huh?
Yeah, Orient, Ohio.
Am I coming through? Hold on, Malik. Ninja, am I coming through okay now? You can't hear? All right. I'm trying to hold it to the mic. Malik, you don't have a Skype, huh? You don't use Skype?
No, all I have is a cell phone. I don't have Skype.
Okay, Ninja, is that coming through now? That's better. Okay, I'll hold it right there. So Malik, what's up, brother?
Well, this is what, like I said, I found out about you through studying Christian Walter's work. Okay?
Yeah.
And I got a few of your books, The Gospel of Thomas. I took some of your downloads. I've been studying your work. But what I really wanted to know, what I was really interested in, because I'm doing the process myself, was the work that Christian Walters was doing as far as equity and trust. And I never, through all of the broadcasts, I never knew where you really stood. I knew you supported Christian Walters, but I never knew where you stood and if you've seen any results out of the work that he was doing. Because that's the path that I'm on, is trying to free myself from this system that we have been tricked into.
Well, see, with my radio network, I brought on all the different researchers. Malik, mute out while you're listening, because I'm getting all the background noise. So just mute out for a second, and then you can jump in. So basically, my goal with my radio network, the RealPublicRadio.net, was to bring on all the different researchers, because I saw all of these great researchers out there, and I wanted to give them a platform, to where they could present what they were researching, and I wanted to be, in on it, in the idea that I wanted to know what was truth, because we saw all these different ideas about the law, and the commercial racket, and we had common law, natural law, constitutional law, statutory law, the constitutional, and then the commercial part of it as well. And so it was like, what's the problem? Like, the problem, that we're having is that, you win sometimes with this process, you lose another time, like with Jack and Margie Flynn, the, where they had the they used presumptive letters, and that the judge couldn't answer them. And so that you walk, you don't go to prison, you don't go to jail, you don't pay the fine, they drop it, because there's some real geniuses out there. And so I was able to, get to know some of them. But ultimately, to answer your question, I never saw the commercial process work for anyone specifically. I was looking for that. I wanted to find out whose process or approach was going to work the best. And the reason there is no ironclad cure-all is because we're dealing with criminals. We're dealing with psychopaths. We're dealing with murderers. We're dealing with people that hate our guts. And therefore, that's why, half the people in prison today have never committed a crime. They're in prison today because they either knew too much, or they're good for business and money, the racket, keep the machine going. So that's the problem. And so even though I was, I had friends, some of my closest, or a number of my friends, they were definitely into the commercial process, and they were, dedicated more than anybody, it seemed like, to their process. And I knew Jack Smith and Jack Schramm with, Right Way Law. I had friends at Right Way Law. I knew Payman Montada, from Freedom Law School, I think it was, all of these different researchers, I knew them. But so it was not, it follows a certain maxim that you can't get perfect fruit, or what you get is poison fruit from a poison tree, or you get, a tree without no foundation can't stand. And so because these approaches are of man, therefore they're flawed from the beginning, because they were founded on false principles and false premises. And so that's why I always felt most comfortable staying with the spiritual law, staying with the scripture, and trusting my Redeemer and the great Father of light, who gave me life, who gave me an opportunity to breathe, who breathed the breath in me, because it is the breath of lives, plural, in Genesis, not the breath of life, but the breath of lives, because it has to do with all of us. And so the sovereign is sovereign. and like in all the freedom movement, or we called it the patriot movement, they talked about sovereignty, sovereignty this, sovereignty that, and yet there is no true sovereignty. I now know the truth. The only sovereignty is in the sovereign, to be reborn, a new creation within him, following his path, doing his will, and not serving self. That's the answer to the dilemma. And then it don't matter whether you got statutory law, common law, commercial law. It don't matter. You can be engaged in those things if they're useful, for some practical purpose, or to be left alone by the system. That's all good. But Yeshua also said, are you a slave? Then don't seek to be free. If are you free? Then don't seek to be a slave. In other words, because that is what becomes an occupation, right? So we could be connected no matter where we are, at any time, at every moment, because he is everywhere in all things. And so that's the problem. People they're more focused on the commercial process than they are on following the scriptures. And so there could be a conflict, but only you can know that, because it's a matter of you knowing the truth, and therefore how you're going to approach it. So I'm here just to help and share my story, and but very grateful that you called in today. Malik, is it? You can unmute now, Malik.
Yeah, it's Malik. That's just what I needed to hear. That's just what I needed to hear, Desert. I appreciate you taking out the time. How can like I said, I bought some of your PDFs. How can I donate to you?
Well, we on the masthead of our YouTube channels, you'll see it says donation right there in PayPal, and
You only have PayPal. You don't have like Cash App or any of the other money transfer systems?
Not at this time, no, because I'm not a geek, and I didn't. We need alternatives, that's for sure. So you're.
Try to get Cash App, Desert. It's pretty easy. It's just simple.
Can you contact me after the program and help me walk through it?
I sure can. What number do you want me to call you at?
Well, let's do tomorrow. Can we do tomorrow? I'm kind of talked out today, and
Sure
I need a break. Yeah, but tomorrow I'll be available, and taking it easy. So it's the 608. You got all that background. Close that background for a minute, Malik. Thank you. And so the phone number is 608 566 7295. 608 566 7295. And then yeah, and then we'll get together tomorrow. So Malik, anything else? Any follow up on your end?
No, I'm just gonna meditate on the gifts you gave me.
Well, wonderful, and I'll look forward to touching base tomorrow. We can share war stories and spend a little more time together. Be easier to talk. Okay.
All right, you take care of yourself, brother.
All right. Peace and love. Take care, Malik. Bye. All right. Well, that was a great call from somebody I had already communicated with on the discussion pages of below the videos, and I was impressed right away. He had something nice to say and comment, and so yeah, I was surprised to hear him call today. Hadn't heard from him since then, and wondering. And David Wellings, good to have you on the program today. Thank you for the heart, and you're welcome as well. And we're winding it down. So unless there's somebody else calling in real quick, then we're out of here because I'm losing my voice. Ninja's got to get to bed. She said she couldn't. She might not be able to even do the whole program today, so she hung in there. And so we've got to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. So we covered a lot of ground. I had 5 important words I wanted to get out, like the last time we did the program, and they're still in front of me. So maybe Sunday, I'll bring out these particular words: the word German, men, liberty, Bolshevism, and Israel. Israel is Ishtar. It's a code for Ishtar because Israel would be in the natural Eshareyulva, and there's something in those root forms that I can share when I do the presentation. But basically, Israel is a code for Ishtar. Ishtar, the Babylonian goddess. It figures, doesn't it? And I couldn't miss it when I was writing it down one day about 2 weeks ago. So I'll reveal some of that. We'll get back into the Kolbrin, the true nature of our great Father of Light. And wow, I can't picture myself. I found a friend here in Ohio that who knows too much. So that's something to look forward to with Malik, and we'll look forward to you call in anytime tomorrow that works out for you, Malik. If it's off, we'll then just delay an hour or so, and we'll get connected, okay? And we can talk a little more freely and see where you've been with your own studies and all that, and I'll share what I've done with mine. Okay, so with that, I think it's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so grateful for you stopping by. We have a small group of friends, but they really do get it, and they're very special to me. And I find it easier to talk to a small group than if we had so many people and that thing just goes up like it does on the other channels. I'm not looking for a lot of listeners. What I'm looking for are the few people that really get it and want to separate from the illusions that tie us down, that don't let us be set free, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, don't forget, I'm your host, Desert Owl. It's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here, because somebody's got to do it. Do tell a friend, won't you? After all, you wanted to know. And come on back next Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the Real Public Radio. It's the place to be if you're wanting to hear a few things you've never heard before. Okay? Do tell your friends, won't you? And we'll see you.
Starry, starry night, paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. Shadows on the hills, sketch the trees and the daffodils, catch the breeze and the winter chills in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. Starry, starry night, flaming flowers that brightly blaze, swirling clouds in violet haze, reflect in Vincent's eyes of china blue, colors changing hue. Morning fields of amber grain, weathered faces lined in pain, are soothed beneath the artist's loving hand. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now, for they could not love you, but still your love was true. And when no hope was left inside on that starry, starry night, you took your life as lovers often do. But I could have told you, Vincent, this world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. Starry, starry night, portraits hung in empty halls, frameless heads on nameless walls, with eyes that watch the world and can't forget, like the strangers that you've met, the ragged men in ragged clothes, a silver thorn, a bloody rose, lie crushed and broken on the virgin snow. Now I think I know what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they're not listening still. Perhaps they never